A new day has dawned at the World Series of Poker Main Event. Almost 6,000 players have been eliminated.
Next year, I guess.
Yet there's so much work left to be done.
The main event's difficult. I mean, there's no messing around. The number of players that you have to evade, it's certainly a long shot to win it.
I mean, I have a ton of chips now, but anything can happen, especially with my style of play.
Tonight, a player who knows what it takes to go all the way finds himself in familiar territory, center stage.
People always tell me that it's more difficult for me to win because the amateurs want to say I busted Phil Hellmuth or I played a pot against Phil. They want to tell their grandchildren that stuff.
So many possibilities, so many personalities here on day 4. Welcome back to continuing coverage of the World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. We are under 1,000 players, and tonight 693 will make the money. The rest go home empty-handed.
Hey, come on, baby.
I hope I can do this. I really want to get to the final table. That's my dream. I need a lot of blessing.
Daniel Negreanu and Eric Lindgren share that dream. Neither has done it before.
And they're running out of time. They're both pushing 40.
Day 4, it's money day. Time to rock and roll.
Dennis Phillips is trying to regain his 2008 mojo. Jeffrey Lissandro is always a force at the World Series.
When he puts on that hat, it scares small children.
Bracelet-winning amateur Sam Barnhart is still in the game.
Who doesn't root for a software data analyst?
But this is the World Series main event, and any of the remaining 852 players could wind up with the gold bracelet. Right now, American Patrick Poirier is your day 4 chip leader.
From Tupper Lake, New York, the crossroads of the Adirondack Mountains, great place for ice fishing.
Vanessa Rousso was one of 14 women remaining.
And she's the only woman remaining currently married to Chad Brown.
Jean-Robert Bellande cracked the top 100 last year. Can he do it again?
The poor man's Phil Hellmuth, and like the poker brat, somehow I root for him.
And Mr. 2011 World Series Ben Lamb's still in it.
Looks trusting, plays tricky.
Second in chips right now, Daryl Jace.
Looks fresh and clean today, Lon, but he still hasn't shaven.
Thousands are gone, but the remaining field is very strong. We kick off day 4 at our feature table. 2 headliners here. Former WPT champion Martin Decknafe.
Nicknamed The Knife, he finished 13th at the O2 main event.
Also here, the man you love to hate, the man you love to watch, Phil Hellmuth. Short on chips, never short on attitude. 11-time bracelet winner with just 77,000 chips. Action on him with pocket deuces, and he's going to raise it up to 10-5.
Phil with 3 second-place finishes at this World Series. If you asked him right now whether he'd take a runner-up finish here, he'd turn it down. I don't think his internal system could withstand a second-place finish at this main event. He'd implode.
Folded over to a German from Greek descent, Charalampos Sousis with pocket 9s. And he will make the call from the small blind. The big blind, Matthias Mook, lays it down.
So it'll be heads up, the U.S. versus Greece. Good thing this isn't a cash game.
The amateur Sousis versus Phil Hellmuth. All right, here's the flop. It is Trey, ace, queen. Sousis still best with his 9s. The amateur, though, checks to the razor.
Phil wants to get busy.
12-5.
And the pro with a continuation bet to 12,500.
Hellmuth's usual very small ball post-flop bet.
The part-time player lays down the best hand, a time-honored tradition.
Well, when you raise pre-flop and an ace hits, it's easy to represent it. Sousis doesn't want to mess with Hellmuth here. And the poker brat seems very pleased with himself right now.
Making it this far in the main event is an accomplishment in and of itself. But if you bust out now, you still leave empty-handed. The day 4 task is to make the money, then evaluate what lies ahead. Norman, any words of wisdom for our remaining 852 players?
I don't do wisdom, but here's my list of don'ts for day 4. Don't change your game. Be who you are, not who you're not. Don't fear the bubble. Embrace the bubble. Don't start thinking $8.7 million yet. It's early and it's still a pipe dream. And most importantly, to the players at the feature table, don't get in the way of a Phil Hellmuth tirade.
I just think I need to get to the range for like an hour, and then I'll be good. Every time I go out there, it's like 5 at night, and you want to play some holes, you know?
Boy, I've seen Phil's poker tirade. I can't imagine his golf tirade.
He hates playing in a Northern European foursome.
Well, with Phil's stack just picking up the blinds and antes is a boost to his hopes. Right now he has king 6 of spades. He limps in for 4,000. The blinds at 2 and 4,000.
Phil limping in from middle position with a marginal hand. He does it his way.
Folded to Patrick Devlin with pocket 10s.
The governor feels badly about the situation he's put California in.
He limps in as well. Small blind folds. In the big blind, Deck Nafe. Deck Nafe looks down at Ace Trey on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam.
When Deck Nafe won the WPT Championship in '04, it was worth $2.7 million, the largest live poker tournament score at that time.
A limped 3-way pot. Pocket 10s for the Governator. The lead right now. 5 ace, queen, all spades. Deck Nafe checks top pair. Hellmuth with the nut flush.
And Phil takes off his sunglasses to get a better look at the flop lawn. That is not Joe Navarro approved.
He checks. Devlin's 10s are no good. He checks as well. Jack of hearts on the turn means 2 players are drawing dead to Phil Hellmuth. And Deck Nafe bets into Phil, 7,000.
Yeah, since Phil checked on the flop, he gets some value here on the turn.
Action is on Hellmuth. And he does raise it to 18,000. Devlin lays it down. Now back to Deck Nafe. Martin with a pair of aces and a weak, albeit meaningless, flush draw.
You see how Deck Nafe is holding his right hand on his head? He's covering up a tattoo of Dolph Lundgren that he got while on a drinking binge a couple of weeks ago.
11,000 more to call. That's what he does.
Phil quiet as a church mouse when he has the nuts.
River, 2 of clubs. No help to Deck Nafe. He checks.
Well, the poker brat likes the stone cold nuts.
Phil putting together all of his orange chips, a little yellow and blue. That's 36,500. And Deck Nafe quickly folds.
Phil not as talkative when he takes down a pot uncontested. That's a small blessing for the table.
So Deck Nafe gives a few chips to his fellow pro. Phil up to about 115,000 now, picking up a couple of pots early at this feature table. Not boosting his stack a great deal, and he knows he better get it going very soon. No matter how Phil does in this main event, his 11 bracelets are safe until the World Series of Poker Europe. Brunson and Chan have already been eliminated from this main event.
A lot of people think Phil Ivey will be the one eventually at the top of that list. He's got to work on his game, though.
He's got to start playing the game. At an outer table, 2-time bracelet winner Humberto Brenes at risk. His kings bumped into aces. Britt Mike Ellis trying to knock off Humberto. The flop is no help to Humberto.
It's my happy birthday, king.
Ellis, a bracelet winner, didn't expect a dinner show here tonight.
Money maker, remember money maker. Give me a king.
Turn card, not a king.
Oh, no.
Brenes looking for a king. Ellis looking for headphones or a knockout.
The river card is an ace, and ace is full, takes out Humberto Brenes.
That's a shame.
No. I see you in the next. Okay, my friend, take it.
All right, now that's worth something.
Ellis wins a souvenir with that pot, and DeShark goes down in flames.
Okay, guys, good luck.
If Brenes had stretched that out any longer, he might have made the money. Welcome back to the Rio for more of the World Series of Poker main event. Let's check in right now with Kara Scott for an overview of this day 4.
Poker players all over the world dream of winning the main event of the World Series of Poker, and while we won't be crowning a champion today, 693 players take that next step as we head into the money and the top 10% of the field. 3 former champions are still in: Barry Johnston, Robert Barconi, and of course Phil Hellmuth on our feature table. Phil's also trying to hold on to the lead in the Player of the Year race. So let's see what happens.
And the Player of the Year race does not end here with the main event. The 7 bracelet events coming up at World Series Europe will decide who ends up in the top spot.
5 past Player of the Year winners still alive, 140 players from the money. Minimum payout almost twice the buy-in. At an outer table, 2005 Player of the Year Alan Cunningham holds pocket jacks. He just raised Dana Weeks all in. She holds 6-5 off and her last 12,005 in the pot.
Weeks, a Canadian amateur, runs a bunch of fishing lodges with her husband Rick.
Cunningham, the 5-time bracelet winner, began the hand with a healthy stack of about 300,000.
Don't worry, you're way ahead.
Weeks was very short stacked, 3 big blinds left, and decided to go with it. By the way, do not adjust your TV set at home. Allen's stripes are pulsating.
All right, so here's the flop. Weeks all in. Ace 6-4 all hearts. That's about as good as it gets. Weeks with a pair of sixes and a flush draw.
Weeks now with a buffet of outs to stay alive.
Cunningham trying to get us one closer to the money. Turn card.
Boom, drawn down.
Is the 8 of hearts, and Allen is drawing dead.
Thank you.
By the way, Lon, I have now figured out what to do with pocket jacks. At my home game, we play with a 48-card deck.
Oh, excellent idea, and just burn the other 4. Weeks doubles to 40,000, not a big hit to Cunningham. 93 tables still in play inside the Amazon room. At 1 sits the man who was chip leader on the very first November Niner class, Dennis Phillips. He shoved with aces. He's up against the aces of Andrew Gilmore.
No flush for nobody. We don't even want to see the damn cards.
We don't even want to do the flop.
We'll just split his money and we're happy.
Phillips, of course, 3rd at the 08 main event, then 45th in 09.
Dennis is the one at risk. Aces versus aces. Oh, 2 spades in there.
Well, I did have a spade, so go ahead and sweat.
Phillips now safe to stay alive.
Oh, another spade.
Oh, there's the sweat
Free roll.
card.
Dennis with a flush draw.
I don't even want to see it. I don't want to win it that way. I do. Don't put a spade up.
The river. No spade.
I lied. Put a spade up.
They will chop the pot.
We knew you were using reverse psychology on the poker guys.
Lon, do you have any idea what the odds are for 2 players at a 9-handed table to be dealt pocket aces?
No, I do not.
I don't know either, but the chances are not very good. Let's just leave it at that.
Well, you can see the fear in Gilmore's eyes before that river card fell.
That's the first time this tournament I got ace. Me too. Oh, man. Son of a buck. Oh, well. At least we didn't lose.
When you saw me raise, you had to be smelling like crazy.
Oh, I thought you had kings. Kings, yes. I'd love you to have the ace-king there.
So Dennis Phillips will stick around. Looking at the overall leaderboard, 2 players over $1 million. Poirier and Daryl Jace lead the way. In 6th place, the dangerous Sebastian Rutenberg. He finished 16th in this year's 50K Poker Players Championship. At the secondary table, the chip leader, Patrick Poirier, who is feeling the weight of his main event success.
Pressure mounts every day, mostly because of the people that are supporting me. I feel like I don't want to let them down, and now I'm chip leader, my name's out there, and everybody, my Facebook's exploding, all the social media is exploding, and I just don't want to let people back home down.
Poirier, an Army vet, served 2 years in Korea, came to Las Vegas to attend UNLV, and stayed for the poker.
Boy, the game's difficult enough not to have to carry the baggage of being the chip leader. Guillaume Darcourt in seat 1 with a pink hair.
Do not adjust your TV set. Actually, Darcourt's hair goes nicely with Sam Barnhart's shirt.
He folds over to Barnhart with 6-5 of diamonds.
The 51-year-old taking a year off from work to test the poker waters.
He's a bracelet winner via his World Series Circuit National Championship victory, a raise to 11,000. On Wilson with pocket sevens, and the Canadian makes the call, our chip leader with ace-6 of clubs. Poirier with a re-raise to 25,500.
That's a small re-raise. If Poirier doesn't want to let people down, maybe he should man up and 3-bet like a man.
Over to the small blind, Stuart Tuvey from Sunnyvale, California lays it down. And Frenchman Johan Zowie lays it down as well. Now back to Barnhart.
While Barnhart is thinking, I am staring at Darcourt's hair.
Poirier with the re-raise of Barnhart's original raise to 11,000. And Sam calls.
Sam getting 4-1 on his money to see a flop. And now Wilson would be getting 5-1 to see a flop.
14,005 to call, and so the big stack could not scare the other 2 off. He needs to work on that.
This flop, Lon, is going to affect at least 3 lives.
All right, here it is. 8-5-8. Barnhart Paris's 5. He checks. Wilson's pocket sevens with the 8s now. Have the lead. He checks. And there's some big stack chutzpah. 40,500. Barnhart tags along. Now Wilson lays down.
The best hand says goodbye. And the other 2 hands are thinking, boy, I just got to get rid of one more guy.
All right, heads up to the turn. 4 of diamonds. Barnhart still good with his 5s and 8s, and he's got straight and flush draws.
He would have a straight flush draw, but we saw the 7 of diamonds fold.
Sam checked it. Now Patrick tries to scare off the software analyst with 70,000.
A second barrel, but Barnhart, besides having 2 pair, which happens to be the best hand, has straight and flush draws.
And 70,000 is the stubborn call from Barnhart. And these two will see a river. The chip leader against the amateur. River card. Tray of clubs. Barnhart's hand is best. And he checks it again. And Patrick gives up, and Sam shows the best hand.
And Sam takes down a nice pot.
A nice read by Barnhart. I imagine he picked up some respect at this table at the expense of Poirier, perhaps.
Patrick thinking, where did it all go so wrong?
Yeah, it gives up some chips. Barnhart building a stack for a deep run, trying to repeat a performance from earlier this summer.
I'm Sam Barnhart from Little Rock, Arkansas. I won the National Championship Circuit event. It was a $300,000 first place winner. It was an excellent start off. That event there was the most aggressive event I've ever played in. I am from Arkansas, and we have a tendency to to be aggressive at times. I'm all in. I had to battle constantly. Some of these players do it for a living. I don't. To win the first and the last event, oh, that would be a dream come true, and that's my goal. And I'll fight everything I can to get it.
Didn't know Arkansas was an aggressive poker haven. Maybe it's the Scandinavia of America.
Action folded around to Barnhart on the button. Your kind of guy. He used to play stud all the time, but turned to hold'em. A raise to 11,000 with ace tray of clubs. Now to the big blind, John Wilson, ace-6 of spades.
Wilson listening to K-Rock in his right earbud and smooth jazz in his left earbud.
He needs something to calm his nerves. He does make the call. He is the short stack here at this table, starting the hand with 162,000. Heads up to the flop. Ace-4, tray all hearts. Wilson with just top pair checks it. Barnhart with top and bottom pair bets 30,000. Neither player with a heart.
I'm all in.
All in.
Wilson all in. Oops.
Wow, the 22-year-old Canadian gets a little frisky there.
Maybe steaming from that last hand we saw when he gave up the best of it.
Barnhart with a tough decision here. Remember, we saw him lay down pocket kings pre-flop on day 3.
But reluctantly calls.
An ace.
Let's see it.
I got 2 pair.
Yeah, Barnhart has Wilson in trouble. He's at risk also.
Oh, wow. Man, well, I mean,
good call. I hate that play by Wilson. All in, 36 big blinds left. I just think it's high risk, not high reward.
Turn deuce of spades gives Wilson a winning straight draw and 4 more outs.
Wilson now is going to need a 4, 5, or 6 to stick around.
The river card is a 9. Barnhart fades all trouble, eliminating John Wilson.
Hi, man.
A couple of nice pots for Sam Barnhart. Barnhart struggles with his decisions, but he's made the right decision each time we've seen him.
Wilson says his goodbyes, and Sam Barnhart stacks the chips. So Barnhart now pushing Patrick Poirier for the tournament leadership. Barnhart making a push to $1 million, trying to book in the first bracelet with the last. Welcome back to Las Vegas, home of the World Series of Poker Main Event. This tournament is a grind. To make the final table, you need to survive 8 days. Today is day 4. Here is a quick recap of the first 3 days. We started with 6,865 players, third largest ever main event field. The leaders from the previous days are all still alive. All but 3 of the past main event champs are out, including the defending champ, Jonathan Duhamel.
$8.7 million to the winner line.
Folded to Jared Zito, amateur from Illinois with King 10 off, a raise to 9,500.
He's a carpenter.
Charalampos Sousis with deuces. Now he's going to play, so now I got to say Sousis is deuces the whole hand. He calls for 9,500.
That's beyond your skills.
Matthias Mook from Germany with pocket tens just calls.
As the bubble approaches, many tend to play passively, and there you see Mook just calling with those pocket tens. When I cashed earlier at the World Series lawn, I was very aggressive as the bubble approached.
Thank you for pointing out your cash. 3 players will see this flop.
Big cash.
4, Queen 4, Zito. Got no help.
That flop not only missed all 3 players, Lon, it missed everyone in Clark County.
Zito checks, Sousis checks, Mook checks as well. Jack of diamonds. Zito now open-ended. And he has chips. He's going to bet this time 11,000.
Yep, I would bet it, and that could end it.
Sousis makes a call. Mook with the best hand gets out of the way.
The best hand takes leave once again.
So now Sousis' deuces are best right now.
You can do it.
All right, Zito and Sousis, river card. Jack of spades. Sousis just got counterfeited with jacks and fours on board.
And neither player's happy with that card.
Zito checks. Sousis will bet 24,000.
Wow.
And Zito gets out of the way.
No hand, good read, nice play. The semi-pro takes advantage of the amateur.
Sousis had the worst of it almost the whole way, but will drag the pot. Yeah, that's worthy of some self-congratulations. For a quick reaction on that hand, let's check in with two-time bracelet winner Greg Mueller for our pro analysis.
Sousis, I like the way he played the hand. He had a pair, he went set mining, he missed, he used his position wisely, but on the river he realized he could not win this pot. When the board double paired, and he had deuce high, he showed a little heart and fired. Sometimes it's not who has the best hand. Sometimes it's who's got the biggest heart.
Unfortunately, my strategy is no hand, no heart, no chips.
824 players remaining. Day 4 will be payday for 693. At an outer table, one-time bracelet winner David Bach could be tweeting, "My pocket kings just got cracked by D. Friedman, who flopped a set of queens."
D. Friedman, wife of bracelet winner Prahlad Freeman, here in great position to double up to a very comfortable chip stack.
Both these players started with almost even stacks. Friedman the one at risk. Turn card a king and a better set for Bach.
And now Bach, the 09 50K horse champion, about to send D. Friedman home.
The river card, the 10 of spades, and that will do it. D. Friedman knocked out of the main event.
D. Friedman got lucky there for a moment on the flop. And you hate getting busted by a man getting a massage.
Well, that should boost David's spirits. He barely had Friedman covered, so Bach doubles his stack after a lucky turn card. All right, let's get back to the secondary table. They are currently playing 8-handed, but still a lot of chips in play here, over 4.3 million. Poirier, of course, the leader with 1.3 million. Barnhart in second place. The short stack with 112,000 is Daniel Toffel. Under the gun is Barnhart on the Jack Links beef jerky hole cam. King 7 off.
I love beef jerky.
He lays it down. Folded over to our chip leader with pocket fours.
He got the day 4 chip lead by playing a lot of hands. There's no reason he's not going to play pocket fours.
He says the discipline he learned in the Army helps him in poker. He raises to 8,500. 2V now on the button. 7 deuces not going to play. Now to Darkor with Jack 8 in the big blind, and he makes the call.
With the big blind discount, he'll play those rags.
Flop 10 at tray 9. Darkor is favored with the open-ended straight draw and the 2 overs to the pocket pair of Poirier. Darkor checks 11,500 from Patrick.
Darkor definitely getting the right price to call in this spot.
And if you're wondering, the pink hair is the result of a lost prop bet. No details disclosed. He did make the call. Queen of spades on the turn. That hits Darkor as he gets a queen high straight. He checked it. Poirier checks. 10 of hearts. Poirier was drawing dead.
And now Darkor thinking, let me see if I can actually get a call here.
He's putting some chips together. 22,500.
I call.
Poirier calls. And Darkor will take that pot. So Poirier giving away some more chips as Darkor will get a little stronger.
My man from Tupper Lake is letting people down, including me. Buck up, son.
Poirier started day 4 in the top spot, but he's learning firsthand it's much tougher to remain on top. More to come from day 4, the 2011 World Series of Poker main event. Welcome back to the Rio in the World Series of Poker, where Daryl Jace has taken over the top spot. You know, the most World Series bracelets won by anyone since the poker boom began belong to Jeffrey Lissandro with 5. And right now, Lissandro has his last 53,000 in the middle with 6-5 of clubs, trying to double through Lance Steinberg's ace-king.
Lissandro pushed from the button with 13 big blinds left.
So this former player of the year is behind and at risk. The flop is tray 10 king. Lissandro still at risk and further behind.
Lissandro all but gone.
Turn card the 8 of diamonds, and now Lissandro drawing dead and eliminated and makes his quick exit.
Lissandro not one to hang around for chit-chat and small talk.
So Steinberg knocks off a very tough player. Lissandro finished 17th in the 06 main event, goes out short of the money here. At another outer table, another former World Series Player of the Year. Daniel Negreanu took those honors in 2004. He just flopped top pair and bet $18,000 into Dennis Belladal, who picked up an up and down straight draw. Belladal sitting just to Daniel's left.
Belladal, a 24-year-old Swedish pro, and the player seated to his left was, I believe, my roommate in college, and I don't remember him even having a beard then.
Belladal makes a call for $18,000, and Daniel wonders why he called there. 10 of diamonds, Negreanu with top pair, and he checks.
I'm a little surprised Daniel willing to give his opponent a free card here.
And Belladal checks behind. River card, and there is the straight for Belladal.
Belladal with a kid poker type of hand brings it home.
Daniel checks again, this time a wise check.
Daniel checks and then checks out Belladal.
And with the straight, the Swedish player, wow, puts together a pot-sized bet.
What in the world is going on? Count that. Oh my goodness. I was gonna insta, but then you bet too much. You might have just lost me.
Belladal bets the size of the pot. I assume he made the big bet there to make it look like he's bluffing.
5 of spades.
And this would be for 80% of Daniel's remaining stack.
You have ace-5 of spades.
He's on the right track.
Yep, usually is.
I guess you have ace-5 of spades. I'll let you have it.
Daniel folds top pair.
Daniel had the right idea. His overall game wanders from time to time, but when Daniel's game is on, his reads are spot on.
I never had before the river.
What's that?
I might be ahead before the river.
No, I had a queen.
So smoke.
Queen. You couldn't possibly have anything that you played like that didn't hit the river. You obviously hit the river. You had a straight, I'm sure.
I've always wondered. Probably.
You had a straight for sure. No, for sure.
I was going to say possible.
You had a straight. Okay, but I had you till the river. But I made a good laydown. Pat myself.
Daniel very sure and very right.
Daryl Jace, the chip leader. If he wants advice on how to win the event, only 3 people left can give it to him. One of them is Robert Varconi, the 2002 champ, in a hand right now.
That was a $2 million score that year, and he also finished 177th in the 07 main event.
Also alive in this main event, Barry Johnston, the 86 champ.
What a legacy. Most main event cashes ever 10, and in a 9-year period starting in 1982, he made 4 main event final tables.
And of course, the 89 champ, the poker brat, Phil Hellmuth. Phil has a bad rap at the table, perhaps deservedly so, but at home, he's a very different person.
Phil Hellmuth Jr., 47 years old, Palo Alto, California. Okay, we're at the side of my house right now. Now look at the size of this lemon. This might be the biggest lemon that a lot of people out there have ever seen before. So in Italy, they actually eat the shells. Wow, I rarely do this, but it's really not bad. You know, the poker world, you're running 100 miles per hour. I come back here to Palo Alto, I get to relax. The worldwide public knew that I wasn't the guy that I looked like I was. I think people would be like, wait a minute, Phil's just always an ass. He's always an egomaniac. He's always this. Within the poker world, I think everybody loves me. You know, I'm authentic. I don't lie to people. People would be shocked to know that I've been a part-time poker player for 7 or 8 years. You know, I've written books and I've gotten involved in different businesses. I really like it here, and I've been able to build a life outside of poker.
I'm sorry, was that a bust of Phil Hellmuth in Phil Hellmuth's home? I've got to assume his bedroom has a mirror on the ceiling.
Phil with 8-7 off makes a raise to 9,000. I met one of Phil's sons, tall, polite, college-bound, so Phil's doing something right.
Everything skips a generation.
Over to Devlin now, pocket sixes, he makes the call.
By the way, I'm no Joe Navarro, but when Phil said the lemon was really not that bad, his face looked like he wanted to spit it into the Palo Alto City Incinerator.
Hellmuth and Devlin, heads up, we'll see a flop. 8-8-4, trip eights for Hellmuth. Devlin got none of that in checks.
Well, Phil won't slow play it. Instead, he'll probably make one of his small post-flop bets.
9,500. Devlin didn't hit his set, so he gives it up.
Bad luck for Phil there not to get a call.
Now the part-time poker player will take that pot. He is working on the short stack, trying to build it back up. When poker deals you lemons, well, you have to make lemonade any way you can. Welcome back to the Rio and our coverage of the World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. At one of the outer tables here in the Amazon room, you see Jean-Robert Bellande, who has his opponent dominated. Bellande just bet 11,000 with ace-9 into Pim de Gouda's wheel draw.
De Gouda, a 24-year-old Frenchman. He made a final table at an earlier World Series no-limit event this year.
He makes the call. Bellande started with 117,000 in this hand. De Gouda, 87,000. Turn card, King of Clubs. You see the graphic shows there's a decent chance for a split pot.
But De Gouda now a slight favorite with his club flush draw.
Bellande puts together 29,000 chips.
What was that all about?
What was that all about?
Little finger right there.
Oh, Jean-Robert just has a wandering finger.
So De Gouda getting a count.
Bellande desperately looking for a fold here.
But he does not get it.
Well, nobody's got anything to write home about. Actually, who am I kidding? Nobody writes home anymore.
The river card now is a 6, no chop. Bellande's 9 plays. He has the best hand, but looks like he's giving up. He checks.
And now De Gouda can't win it unless he bets at it. Hard to bet his hand, though.
He's struggling with the decision. Bellande would probably be happy with a check from De Gouda.
I think I'm good, but I don't know if I should turn my hand to a bluff. What do you think?
Can't discuss the hand.
You can't? Then I just check it.
There is the check.
Jean-Robert is going to be thrilled.
No!
De Gouda, not so much.
Wow, if you turn your head into a bluff for sure. I'm not calling 7,000. Yeah, I know that. I was sure you were trapping me. Well, I was. I had an ace. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see that. Wow.
So Jean-Robert will take that pot. He's up for the day to almost 166,000. All right, we check in with our secondary table where Patrick Poirier still leads. Another tough player has joined this table, Alex Cambaris. He has only 30 big blinds, but he's a dangerous one as long as he has any chips.
Cambaris was Card Player's 2008 Online Player of the Year, still looking for his first live tournament breakthrough.
Just 2 World Series cashes, but a whole bunch of online success, as you mentioned, Norman. Darkor gives it up to Sam Barnhart, who has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Here you go, Norman. Make your choice.
Batting over 400, baby.
Barnhart with a raise to 13,000.
Oh, the man from Arkansas says he's aggressive, so I believe he's being aggressive here without a real hand. B or D?
Zohair Kareem made the call with pocket tens, ace 10 of hearts for Patrick Poirier.
We know Poirier is aggressive. I believe he is from Tupper Lake, Arkansas.
And he calls for 13,000. Toffel in the small blind with king deuce. Lays down. Now the big blind, Fried Mulders, an amateur from Belgium with pocket eights.
Boy, what a look. That outfit. The stripes, the colors, the shades, the hair. Of course, I have to respect the mustache.
And he makes the call. So 4 players will see this flop. One of them, Barnhart, with the wild card hand.
Jack 9 or 8-7. Book it.
You have a 50-50 chance picking 2 of them. All right, here's the flop, and it's all 9s. Mulders with 9s full of 8s checks. Barnhart bets 15,000.
Of course he's betting 15,000. He's got quads or he's got nothing.
Kareem with 9s full of 10s makes the call. Poirier also calls.
Boy, that's a loose call. That Poirier's got a lot of heart, though.
Mulders folds his full house, so 3 players will see the turn card.
Poirier's got to have a big heart. The way he plays, I'm sure it gets broken every few days.
All right, 4 of diamonds. Barnhart checks. Kareem checks. Poirier checks.
What a surprise, Lon. I'm thoroughly confused.
5 of hearts on the river. Barnhart puts out 15,000.
Oh, the old stutter step from Barnhart. He's got quads or he's got nothing.
Kareem calls. Poirier folds. Barnhart shows ace-queen. You missed it.
Well, first of all, it was a tiny bet. It was going to get called. I picked the wrong nothing. Don't I get half credit?
No.
Of quarter credit?
No, sorry. Kareem will win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
It's a bum system.
To an outer table down at the far end in the black World Series of Poker shirt, you see a very tough player. 5-time bracelet winner Ted Forrest has pocket fours.
One of Ted's nicknames is Professor Backwards. He thinks differently than others, and he's usually right.
And he makes a raise to 10,500. Fold it over to Cherish Andrews, 21-year-old from Pennsylvania.
She won a Heartland Poker Tour women's only hosting contest in 2010. 847 auditioned for it, and that earned her an on-air hostess role for an HPT event at Turning Stone. Would you believe me, Lon, if I told you that's how I got this job?
Somehow, no. Big blind folded, heads up to the flop. Andrews hits top pair. She's got the lead, and she checks. Forrest bets 10,000.
You don't think I could get this position because of my personality or my looks?
Doubtful.
That's a valid point.
Andrews now with the best hand and a check raise. She check raises Ted Forrest to 24,000.
Ted Forrest won 3 bracelets in 1993 alone, but a new age has dawned out here, sir.
He won his other 2 the year before. 14,000 chips to call, and that's how many chips he's riffling right now, and he puts them in the middle. So Andrews with the lead. Turn card now. Queen of diamonds. Andrews still good. She checks again.
I think Ted's call on the flop slowed her down.
And Ted will not risk another check raise. He checks behind. River card, Jack of Hearts. Andrews 2 pair is best, and she checks again. Now Ted bets 30,000.
Forrest hoping to take her off her hand.
Andrews calls.
Excellent call. That was a good call, and Ted Forrest, a gentleman to acknowledge it.
Andrews takes that pot of 136,000.
She cashed 3 times earlier at this World Series. She can play.
Andrews wins that skirmish with one of the game's best. She moves to over 340,000. The main event dream is still alive for her and 791 others. Having already finished second in one event this summer, 11-time bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth was trying not to repeat that finish in the $10,000 Stud High-Low Championship. Unfortunately, the poker brat would have to settle for runner-up once again, this time to banker Eric Rodewig.
He played well. Give him some credit.
Bracelet 12 was not in the cards for Hellmuth this summer, who came up short in the Poker Players Championship.
I'd trade 3 seconds for a first any day. I'm devastated. Completely devastated.
Phil has had a very successful summer so far, and Kara Scott may have uncovered part of the reason why.
Although Phil has had an incredible 2011 series, and in fact, he is the leader right now for Player of the Year with 3 second-place finishes in events, including the 50K Player Championship. He has been trying to sidestep the media. He's doing it very politely, and it seems to be a concerted effort on his part to stay focused. You can see he's almost constantly wearing those headphones. I spoke to his wife at the 50K final table. She said that this is a conscious effort on his part to stay focused, stay present at the table.
Here's a look at Phil's summer, a resume of a lifetime condensed into 2 months of poker.
Phil this summer has shown us he can play every game better than we thought, and once again he's shown us he navigates huge no-limit fields pretty well.
He had almost $1.6 million in earnings at this World Series so far, second only to Brian Rast, who won that Poker Players Championship. Phil with ace-10 of clubs made a raise to $10,500 over to Deck Nafe, who calls with Jack-10 of spades. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, Sousis with King-6 off.
I think Sousis is trying to squeeze the King-6 into a King-King.
He folds his button. Mook now lays down his small blind. Senninger in the big blind gets out of the way.
Phil always seems surrounded by alien forces.
Heads up, Deck Nafe and Phil Hellmuth. The flop, 4 Queen-7 misses both. Hellmuth leads with ace-high, no continuation bet. They both check. 9 of clubs on the turn, ace-high still best. Phil checks again. Deck Nafe, open-ended straight draw. It's worth 8,000.
That's a Hellmuth-esque type of wager.
Phil will make the call.
Small bet. Small call.
Hellmuth ahead, going to the river. The 6 improves neither. Hellmuth ahead with the ace-high. He checks.
It looks like Deck Nafe is picking a good spot here to outplay Phil.
The only way he can win it is to bet it. He does bet $20,500.
I'd like Phil to make this call, but if he doesn't, I'd really like Martin to show his bluff.
Hellmuth, short stacked, decides not to commit the chips, and Deknafe will take it.
And now you see Deknafe with his right hand on the right part of his face, covering up a tattoo of Mike Matusow he got a month ago while temporarily insane.
Phil just managed to climb over the 100,000 chip mark and now falls below it once again. We have mentioned that Phil is the leader in the Player of the Year standings. Here's a look at the top 10. Ben Lamb won a bracelet this summer. Brian Rast won 2. Some of the best in the game brought their best game to the Rio for the World Series. Ben Lamb sitting at an outer table now with an open-ended straight draw against Jamie Kerstetter's ace high, which leads after the turn. Kerstetter checked.
Kerstetter, a former tax attorney, told us her mom will be psyched to see her on television, even if it's only losing massive pots to Ben Lamb all day.
Lamb checked, almost 150,000 in the pot. Deuce of clubs on the river. Kerstetter's no pair is better than Lamb's. She checks.
Well, the flush got there on the river. Ben Lamb might pretend he has one.
Yeah, that's like a party invitation to Lamb. 83,000 into Kerstetter.
She's left just with ace high, but not willing to lay it down just yet. And with good reason. He looks so trusting. Kerstetter considers herself a semi-pro. She lives in Jersey City, New Jersey. Cashed in a couple of earlier World Series events this year.
She doesn't look too confident here, and she folds.
Show the bluff for the camera, okay?
He can show a bluff if he wants.
Oh, you gotta show that. You got that long with ace high though?
You know, he's a PLO player, you know. You could have used that.
Should jam. I thought about jamming.
Could have just jammed on him.
I like $20,000 too.
Ben's evil plan to own everyone's chips continues to baffle and befuddle his opponents. Daryl Jason Patrick Poirier 1-2 overall right now for the main event chip lead. Stefan Albertini has joined them in the exclusive Million Chip Club. Let's get back over to our secondary table where Poirier sits. First to act, Guillaume Darcourt, French businessman with just one World Series cash, but it was worth $223,000.
The 38-year-old did win a 2010 WPT title in Romania.
King Queen of Hearts is worth a raise to $11,500. Barnhart with King Tray off. And he will lay that down. Fold it around to Poirier. He won't play this hand. Fried Mulders, the Belgian amateur with ace-jack.
He has an engineering degree from Catholic University in Leuven, Belgium. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
And he calls. Now to this Frenchman, former boxer Johan Zowie with ace-4 in the big blind, and he'll come along. So 3 players, 2 Frenchmen, 1 Belgian. You know, Norman, there's still a France-Belgium rivalry on the origin of the French fry. Here's the flop. King, King, 9. Trip kings for Darcourt. Zowie checked it. Darcourt checks.
Surprised Darcourt checking the flop on a draw-heavy board.
They all check. 10 of diamonds. 2 players drawing dead to Darcourt. Zowie checked it again. Now Darcourt reaching for chips. A little less than half the pot, 17-5.
Why are the French and Belgians arguing over the origin of the French fry? I thought McDonald's invented it.
Mulders folded. Action on Zowie now. Oh, he's thinking about something.
Maybe Zowie looking to get creative here at the wrong time.
Yeah, getting frisky with a bluff check raised to $36,500.
This would be the wrong time. I'm a self-made wrong time expert, Lon.
Guillaume Darcourt just calls. I wonder if that trips any alarms in Zowie's head. River card, the jack of clubs. Darcourt rubs it in, improving to a king-high straight. Zowie checked.
And Darcourt very comfortable with his hand right now.
40,000 comfortable.
Zowie gonna get creative again?
Nope, he will lay it down.
He smartly throws in the towel.
But a round too late. Darcourt got some unexpected value on the turn from his fellow countrymen. So Darcourt up to about at 600,000. Let's get back now to the featured table. Phil Hellmuth is trying to make it through yet another day. Deknafe with King Queen off makes a raise to 11,000.
Deknafe played bridge growing up. He was a bridge life master in Sweden by age 21.
And once again, he's playing in some world-class bridge tournaments. Fold it over to Hellmuth. Phil with 10-8 off makes the call.
Boy, Phil looks bored and plays that rag hand from the big blind.
So he'll see a flop once again heads up with Deknafe. Flop 9-4, deuce each with a diamond flush draw. Deknafe's is better, neither paired up. Phil checks, Deknafe checks. 5 of hearts on the turn, no help to Phil.
Looks like Phil wants to buy it right here.
12,500.
I'm all in.
And Dick Nafe snap raises Phil all in.
Wow, I didn't expect that all in, Lon. Phil didn't expect that all in, and Phil now just waiting an appropriate period of time until he folds. Dick Nafe somehow knew here that Hellmuth could not play for the rest of his chips.
And with a smirk on his face, Phil does lay it down.
Martin looked into Phil's soul. Better him than I.
So no traction early on day 4 for Phil Hellmuth as he now sits with just 67,000. Nearly 7,000 poker players began the main event. 6,200 will go home with nothing.
See how they're stripping me of all my possessions.
The ones remaining will reach the money. As day 4 continues, something is about to burst. The money bubble.
Welcome to the game.
I got a good cushion. We're going in on the bubble. I feel like I can maybe abuse my table a little bit.
It seems like once the bubble bursts, people just go flying out the door.
Find out who cashes and who crashes tonight. Welcome back to Las Vegas for the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Tonight we hit one of the biggest checkpoints along the main event trail, the money bubble. 25K heads-up champ Jake Cody is surviving.
If he makes the money, Lon, the Brit can afford to get a haircut.
Daniel Negreanu needs a double up and fast.
I believe Kid Poker, if necessary, could talk his way into the money.
Jean-Robert Bellande hopes a little coffee will perk up his stack.
He should look in his coffee cup. Maybe he'll find more chips in there.
Daryl Jace is where everyone wants to be, in the lead.
Yes, but it's getting cold in here.
Jace, one of 3 players over $1 million. He's joined by Patrick Poirier and Stefane Albertini. At our feature table, one of the shorter stacks in the room, 11-time bracelet winner Phil Hellmuth.
Hey, my poker brat knows how to play a short stack.
Phil's got a newfound foil here in 38-year-old pro Martin Dick Nafe.
Dick Nafe is from Sweden. That's a part of the world Phil does not like.
Dick Nafe leads this featured table, but is well off the overall lead. Hellmuth has just 13 big blinds, which is the kind of stack that should see action very soon.
But Phil will protect those big blinds like they're the last chips on earth.
I'm half Greek, half German, so I need to bring some money to Greece for the economy.
You don't bring the money there, it's just going to disappear.
Dick Nafe seems well versed in global economic situations. All right, action is on Patrick Devlin, an amateur out of Canada.
He's a real estate agent.
King, Queen of Spades and a raise to 8,500. Jared Zito, a 24-year-old carpenter with pocket tens.
Now that's real work, Lon.
And he announces re-raise, 19,500.
We need to bust about 60 more players to hit the money. It's a wonderful feeling to cash in the main event.
693 will get paid. Hellmuth folds ace-queen from the big blind.
With a 3-bet in front of him, he will not even consider the ace-queen.
So back to Devlin now, and he makes the call for 11,000 more, and we'll go heads up with Zito.
The realtor versus the carpenter. It's the main event.
Here's the flop. 8-6 queen. Devlin leads now with top pair, and he checks it.
Zito will test the waters.
Zito with chips in hand. That's 18,500. And Devlin raises all in for 45,000.
Now, Phil Hellmuth would have flopped top pair, top kicker if he had played, and now it would be his decision for most of his chips. He generally hates that.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Call.
And Jared Zito will make the call to put Devlin at risk, and he will not be happy to see what Devlin turns over.
Dang it all. I mean, I have ace-queen.
Devlin says his claim to fame would be to bust Phil Hellmuth. If he survives here, maybe he'll get his chance later.
Devlin in good shape to survive, but still at risk. Tray of clubs means Devlin is still good.
Zito looking for a river 10 to bust Devlin.
Run a pretty good king-queen. I had ace-queen.
Phil had ace-queen, Lon.
Yeah, disappointed about it. The 6 on the river will double up Devlin to almost 140,000.
Devlin now sitting on 35 big blinds. Zito now a short stack.
Yeah, he lost more than half his stack in that hand. And Phil bemoaning a missed opportunity.
So sick.
The pressure is certainly mounting inside the Amazon room as the bubble looms large. Even seasoned pros like Phil Hellmuth place an emphasis on cashing in the main event. So Norman, with his short stack and rising blinds, is Mr. Hellmuth in trouble?
Sure, he's in trouble, but if I had to pick one guy to nurse a short stack, fold when others would raise, give spelling lessons, fend off Northern Europeans, dodge bullets, aggravate tablemates, and make it to the next day of the main event, it would be Phil Hellmuth. All he needs is a chip and a chair he can throw. Go get him, champ!
He was champ in waiting, runner-up 3 times at this World Series, but a lot of makeup work to do here in the main event for Phil. On the button with Jack-10 off, he limps in for 4,000. Martin Ross in the small blind with 5 tray of spades.
His brother paid for his main event seat. He's pretty much a poker novice.
This 43-year-old German amateur raises to 14,000. And Hellmuth will make the call.
The Brat with about 1/3 of his stack in there now, and Phil Hellmuth against the world now focuses on Germany.
The flop, 4-9-9, that missed both. Ross.
Looks like he might splash around a little.
Yeah, has chips in hand. Takes a stab, 8,000.
All in.
And Phil raises all in.
Boy, Phil living on the edge. I never expect him to make that move for all of his chips, no matter what read he's got on the other guy. Ross, of course, can't call with 5 high.
And he does fold, and Hellmuth takes another pot.
This is how we do it.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate for all of us. You know, and Ross can't believe he flew all the way in from Frankfurt to watch the Brat sing and sway.
Hellmuth no longer the short stack at this featured table.
Starting to pick some hands up. That's a good sign.
Yeah, Phil will need to do a lot of that. He wins that pot, but still way behind the tournament leaders and also well behind the average stack of almost 275,000. Daniel Ritalik has joined the Millionaires Club, but it's Jace and Poirier who have been fixtures near the top. There is Patrick Poirier at our secondary table. He had 1 World Series cash this year for $6,700. Ace King of Spades on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam.
I am unofficially in his corner, but the man from Tupper Lake unofficially will not listen to anything I say.
A raise to 8,500. Toffel lays down over to the Belgian amateur with pocket 6s, Fried Mulders.
The secondary table is heavy on shades. The late afternoon sun hits this part of the Amazon room hardest.
Mulders calls. Johan Zowie, a French amateur with pocket queens.
Some playable hands here.
Over lightweight boxer, now a real estate agent. Says re-raise. He makes it 35,500.
I don't think Poirier will just flat call and risk seeing a 3-way flop. He'd like to get to heads up or end it here with a 4-bet.
With his suited ace king. And he does have a big stack of orange chips. He does 4-bet it to 108,500.
And Mulders will say, I make love, not war.
He does fold. Now Zowie with the queens.
I'm all in.
And he shoves.
I call.
Poirier calls to put Zowie at risk. Zowie ahead with the queens.
I can't argue with Poirier calling there. It's about a quarter of his stack. I wish he'd thought about it just a little longer.
These two are racing for almost 650,000 in chips. And here's the flop, 4 deuce tray. Poirier with a wheel draw. Zowie's queen still ahead.
Zowie, a regular at the Aviation Club in Paris. This is his first main event.
Turn card. And an ace for Poirier. Zowie is crushed. That also puts a wheel draw on the board for a chop.
Zowie might be shaking his head all the way to the airport. He's down to his last card now.
River card now is a queen! Yes! Zowie spikes the 2-outer for the win.
Poirier absorbs the blow stoically.
Wow. Nice hand.
Boy, he didn't even use his one time.
He still got that in his back pocket. Poirier gives up a bunch of chips as Zowie zooms to almost 650,000. Welcome back to the Rio for day 4 of the main event. Patrick Poirier had a strong day 3, catapulting him into the chip lead. Throughout this tournament, though, he has never sat on his chips. He doubled his stack on day 1, quadrupled it on day 2, and then quintupled it on day 3. But he just took a big hit before the break at the secondary table, taking him off the leaderboard at under 900,000 chips.
The 25-year-old, a quiet, likable guy. It's hard not to root for Patrick Poirier. And it's hard not to root for my man from Arkansas, Sam Barnhart.
There is Barnhart, the 2011 World Series of Poker Circuit National Champion, so he's already won a World Series bracelet for that. Dark Core with King 6 off into the muck. Now Sam Barnhart, Jack 5. No thank you. Zohair Kareem with Ace 6 off and a raise to 9,500.
If you have a weak will, you play a weak ace. I believe Sartre first said that.
Poirier with Ace Deuce on the button.
No.
Oh,
no.
He's thinking about it. Your guy makes the call.
If you have a weak will, you play a weak ace. Jeez. And Sartre, I believe, lived in Tupper Lake, Poirier's hometown.
Oh, the small and big blind give it up. So heads up between 2 weak aces and 2 weak wills. All right, here's the flop. 7, 4, 6. Kareem catches a 6 and puts a firm grip on this one, but he checks.
Patrick's pretty young, but I think one day he could develop poker elbow. It's like tennis elbow. You have only so many betting motions in that arm.
No such thing as poker elbow. They're padded. 13,500 from Patrick and a call from Kareem.
Patrick's an underdog right now if you check those percentages.
Turn card, deuce of diamonds. Poirier pairs his deuce to keep his head above water. Kareem checks again.
Poker elbow is the most common poker injury line, and nobody talks about it.
Poirier bet 17,500.
I bet if you asked Patrick whether he was bluffing or value betting here on the turn, he wouldn't know.
Kareem check calls again.
See, Patrick used to bet with his left arm. Look at it now.
The river card now. And it's another deuce. Poirier gets there from less than 1% to the best hand. Kareem checked again.
Poker elbow or not, Poirier now knows he's got the goods.
Chips in hand. Bets 30,000. And a call from Kareem. And Poirier with the best of it.
Poker is a funny game. Poirier was 95% to win the previous hand against Zowie going to the river and lost. He was 95% to lose this hand against Kareem going to the river and won.
So runner deuces gives that lucky pot to the former cadet. His poker background just might surprise you.
From a little town in upstate New York called Tupper Lake. I started playing poker when I was really young. Not seriously, just kind of messing around. Me and a few friends, we used to I guess hustle down in the park when I was like 12 and 13 years old. Saying we had money in our pocket and that we'd play, and then we'd just rake in the money even though we never had money on us. So we'd play against people, and it was fun. So I started real young and then just kind of worked my way up. The main event bracelet seems so far out of reach. I mean, I have a ton of chips now, but anything can happen, especially with my style of play. It feels like it's right there, but it's still so far away. It does seem like a myth.
I love the way he handles himself at the table, but boy, I wish he'd write his name on his chips so he'd be able to track him down later.
He does move his chips around. Fried Mulders with ace queen off.
9.
He's an IT consultant.
A raise to 9,000. Stuart Tuvey has the Jack Links beef jerky wild card hand, and there are your choices, Mr. Chad.
Give me some time.
Tuvey with a re-raise to 24,000.
I'm guessing Tuvey thinks Mulders raised light from the cutoff, so he's going to 3-bet it light on the button with D, 8-5 off.
Folded back to Mulders, and he makes the call.
If Mulders were thinking like me, he should have repopped him.
So heads up, the wild card hand against the ace-queen of Fried Mulders. Jack Tray 10 Rainbow, Mulders with a Broadway draw.
He's out of position, but I wish he would fire away.
Nope, he checks to the re-raiser.
By the way, if that shirt is property of San Francisco Giants baseball like it says, isn't it unwise to wear it on television where you might get caught?
All right, Tuvey with 32,000.
Still think Tuvey got no piece of that flop. He's just posturing, using position to try to take it down here.
Mulders with the draw. And he puts together 32,000 for the call.
Tuvey's got 8-5 offline. It's not a hunch, it's a fact.
Turn card is an ace, a pair of aces for Mulders now, and he checks once again.
I think Tuvey's got nothing, but I think he's going to try to scallywag it again. I mean, this fellow's wearing a stolen Giants t-shirt. Why would he try to steal the pot?
He's trying to become the latest to win a world championship in that jersey, by the way.
Thanks for the reminder.
55,000 is the bet from Tuvey.
Mulders got top pair. Good kicker, still with a draw to the nut straight line. If he's thinking like me, I would make a gutsy check raise here and just end this charade.
With a pair of aces and the queen kicker
Be a
and
man.
the Broadway draw. Mulders.
Be a man.
No check raise, just a call.
I hate check calling out of position. It's not my style.
All right, here we go to the river. 7 of clubs. Action on Molders. He checks it again.
Does Tuvey have anything left in his bag of hooey? If he just bought a bit of hooey at 7-Eleven, it's all gone now. But if he went to Costco, he's got a month's worth left.
All in.
Wow,
All
that
in.
would put Molders all in.
Well, now this is for Molders' main event. I think Tuvey has 8-5 off, but he's fired a fourth barrel here, and if I'm wrong and Molders calls, he'll be out of here.
Freed Molders with a decision for his tournament life.
Pair of aces.
He lays it down. Tuvey had King Deuce. You were close.
Right bluff, wrong pew. That's still a W for me, I think.
Well, it's a W for Tuvey. We know that with his King Deuce. He does win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand, and he rubs it in just a little bit, showing his Deuce of Hearts to the table. Tuvey moves up the pecking order at the secondary table. More to come from the 2011 main event. The river card is a 4, and it's over. Jake Cody's dominating performance has earned him a bracelet, and he's become the youngest player ever to earn poker's Triple Crown. It was just a few weeks ago Jake Cody was on top of the poker world, now struggling to make the money here on day 4. Cody with pocket kings, that might help.
Cody now with a World Series bracelet, a European Poker Tour title, and a WPT title. He just turned 23.
They call that the Triple Crown. He's all in for his last 27,000.
5 big blinds left.
Fold it over to Matthew K. Ace-8 of spades.
He's a 23-year-old Canadian with a lot of online success.
K makes the call to put Cody at risk. Andrew Gilmore in the big blind now. And he will give it up. So Cody with his kings trying to double up.
Looking for a small double up.
All right, here's the flop with Cody at risk. An ace for K, but another king for Cody. So a set of kings for Jake Cody, a pair of aces for K. Turn card, deuce of spades. Cody's still ahead. K with a flush draw now.
So K now can knock out Cody with any spade other than the king.
The river card is a spade, but it's the king giving Cody quads and a double up.
Boy, that was an exciting small double up.
That is true. Jake Cody still does not have a lot of chips, but he seems to have some residual run good left over from his bracelet win. Back to the secondary table where Patrick Poirier sits. He no longer is in the Millionaires Club here in the main event. Action begins on Stuart Tuvey in that giant shirt on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam. 10 deuce into the muck. Folded around to Guillaume Darcourt, King 9 of diamonds.
Looks like he's going to interrupt his meal to play.
He does. He's going to make a raise to 13,000. 2 black aces for Alex Cambaris.
When Black Friday hit, a lot of internet stars like Cambaris started looking abroad to keep playing online, but Cambaris figures this is a chance not to sit in front of a computer all day. He might go back to school.
He just calls with the aces, known as AJK Hoosier 1. Poirier with 9-8 of hearts on the button.
And that certainly piques Patrick's interest.
And he will come along with a call. Danny Toffel, 41-year-old amateur, lives just outside London with ace-jack.
He owns an online retail company.
In the small blind, he makes the call. Big blind, freed Molders, 10 deuce, that's into the muck.
When you slow play aces, you hate to see 2 callers behind you, and look, in this 4-way pot, pocket aces will only win 6 out of 10 times.
Here's the flop. 9-6-4, swing and a miss for Toffel. He checks Darcourt, a pair of 9s with a good kicker.
When you stop eating to bet, you like your hand.
That is a tell, I know it. He bets 35,000. Now Cambaris, pocket aces sitting pretty.
It's set up really nicely for him. Cambaris wants to seize the moment for sure now.
And soundlessly raises all in for 89,500. Poirier now.
Patrick, don't get yourself into trouble here. Tupper Lake needs you. I need you. Fold it.
He's got top pair with an 8, and he folds. Toffel.
What's he thinking about? He's got
just
nothing.
Getting TV time. He lays it down.
54.5.
Back to Darcourt now.
I call.
And he does make the call for 54,500 more to put Cambaris at risk.
Cambaris gets exactly what he wanted, but Darcourt will try to bust the 25-year-old while snacking on some Kung Pao chicken.
All right, here we go to the turn. 7 of clubs, no help to Darkour.
Remember, Poirier folded a 9, so that's 1 less out for Darkour. Only a king or a 9 gives Darkour the knockout.
The river card is the 10 of spades, and that means Cambaris doubles his stack to more than 240,000.
Cambaris, disappointed he doesn't have more live results yet, but they will come. He is very talented.
You're right about that, Norman. For Poirier, well, he folded a would-be straight. Seems like little is going right for the one-time chip leader. At an outer table on the left, Amanda Musumeci with pocket queens just called an all-in of AP Fahurat with ace-king off.
Blind versus blind.
Are you standing up because you're ready to go? Hope you are.
I'm a little scared, I'm not gonna lie.
Fahurat at risk, and pocket queen still ahead after the flop.
You don't clap mid-hand. Jeez!
Come on, Gary.
And you don't hug the dealer. Pre-flop, post-flop, or anytime, anywhere.
Turn card. 10 of diamonds, no help to Fahurat.
Fahurat needs an ace or a king.
Ace on the river?
Ain't happening, look, dog.
Use my one time right now.
Do it.
Ready?
One time.
The river card, well, he wasted his one time. The pocket queens hold up for Musumeci. She delivers a knockout blow to AP Fahurat.
I love dealers, Lon, but they should be untouchable. I think in the NFL, if you make contact with the referee, it's an automatic ejection.
Well, Musumeci up to about 1 million chips now at that table. You see Amanda seated right next to Jamie Kerstetter at her table. That graphic shows the chip counts of 3 other women still alive in this main event. They're at the secondary table, ace-king off for Sam Barnhart.
He graduated from the University of Central Arkansas, paid for his own tuition, says he lived on macaroni and cheese because it was 4 boxes for $1. Of course, I used to get him 5 for $1, Lon, because I was connected.
He told us never be too proud to fold a good hand or too scared to raise with a bad one. He does raise with a good hand here, 13,500 with ace-king over to Poirier. Patrick looks down at Jack 10 of hearts.
Looks like Patrick wants to play, and when he wants to play, he usually wants to raise.
And that's what he does, a re-raise.
31,000.
Some people can't live without bread and water. For Poirier, he can't live without the 3-bet.
He knows to make chips, you have to put your chips to work, and he's certainly an expert at that. Pull it over to Tuvey, and he lays it down. So now back to Barnhart.
Barnhart is aggressive himself.
He needs 17,500 more to make the call, and that's what he does.
It'll be 2 of my favorite people here. Heads up. I can't take sides.
The 2 top stacks here. Also, 4 ace-king. Barnhart flops top 2.
That's a good-looking flop for Sam Barnhart.
And he bets it 60,000 over 3/4 of the pot. Poirier with a Broadway draw.
This is not a good flop for Patrick. And these are not good thoughts going through his head right now, I believe.
He's got 60,000 out there to make the call. And he puts them in the middle.
Well, to be honest, I thought Patrick was going to raise.
He did not. Barnhart in command right now going to the turn. 9 of spades. Sam's advantage now 10-1.
All looks safe for Sam Barnhart.
Sam puts in 75,000, just over 1/3 of the pot.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Poirier doesn't look like he's going anywhere.
Patrick might be launching Operation Tupper Lake Bluff.
And here comes the raise to 160,000.
Barnhart knows it's pretty unlikely Poirier has a set.
So few hands that Sam has to worry about with his aces and kings.
Barnhart makes the call here, sitting pretty with a $500,000 chip pot already.
Things still going downhill for Poirier. Another 9 on the river. Barnhart's hand is good. He checks.
Well, Operation Tupper Lake Bluff here has little choice. Bluff at it again or concede a big pot.
You heard him talk about his aggressive style and his swings, the massive swings of his chip stack. And here's a bet of 225.
Boy, if I'm Sam, I'm thinking, what can he have? He can't have me beat, can he?
Sam giving this plenty of thought.
225,000.
I call.
And makes the call and will drag a huge pot.
Well, hell, man. That's it, son. I can't get away from that.
Almost $1 million chip pot. Operation Tupper Lake Bluff turns into Operation Tupper Lake Blow-Up, and Patrick Poirier loses half his stack on that one.
What a costly line of play for the former chip leader. A terrific pot for Sam Barnhart. Earlier, Tuvey showed us how bluffs can go right. Poirier showed us how bluffs can go wrong. Welcome back to the 2011 World Series of Poker Main Event, which has provided some memorable Phil Hellmuthisms. Yes!
The first hand you ever won? Let me be excited one time, jeez. They're gonna make a mistake, double me up, and then I'm gonna... Kind of hot, I feel like I'm gonna pick up kings or something. It's the sickest thing ever. That's what I love about poker. I pulled 16 hands in a row and I still got called by 3 people. You got a lot of excuses for your bad play, I understand. I got lucky out the frickin' nuts, man. I know how to fold and I know how to call.
You know, Lon, even when I'm dead for about 50 years, I'm going to look back at these Phil Hellmuth moments as special.
Hellmuth with ace-8 off, and a raise from the hijack seat to 12,500.
Sure, Phil plays like a nit, and he's an online punching bag, but since the poker boom began, in the last 7 years, he's cashed 12 times in World Series events with at least 1,000 players. He's great at navigating huge fields. His last bracelet in 07 was in a field of 2,628.
Phil takes down the blinds and antes, and once again over 100,000 chips, but way off the chip average, way off the chip lead.
9 times he's cashed in fields larger than 2,000, Lon, including the main event in 08 and 09. So we sass him, but we also have to celebrate him.
10 eliminations from the money. Daryl J still numero uno.
And this year, Phil quieted some critics, Lon, with 3 second-place finishes, all in non-hold'em events. Of course, he still never has won a bracelet in a non-hold'em event.
I mentioned the 4.5 million chips in play on the secondary table. In contrast to that, this table with only 1.7 million chips in play. Hellmuth with pocket trays and a raise to 12,500. He had 20 big blinds to start the hand.
Hellmuth at the moment leading the World Series Player of the Year race.
Taking that lead with his runner-up finish of the Poker Players Championship. Ben Lamb in second place. Folded to Martin Decknafe in the small blind, king-queen off.
He's the Phil Hellmuth tormentor du jour.
In the 02 main event, he had the chip lead with 15 to go and wound up in 13th place. He re-raises the action to 32,500.
You can hear from the tone of the brat's voice, he's already agitated.
Phil needs 20,000 to call. And he does call.
Phil should be agitated at himself. He just put 1/3 of his stack in pre-flop with pocket threes.
I guess he's waiting and hoping Martin misses the flop. Deuce, Jack, Queen. Martin does not miss the flop. He hits top pair. And you saw Martin reaching for chips. He has been antagonizing Phil all night long. There's 30,000, keeping the heat on.
I would think this is an easy one for Phil to get away from.
Nothing is easy when Phil Hellmuth is concerned.
How much?
30,000, Phil. What a contrast, Phil licking his lips anxiously and Martin totally at ease. The headphones are off. Hellmuth's doing some deep thinking.
Phil and everyone else just 10 eliminations from the money.
I'm all in. 38.5 more.
Phil re-raises all in, and a snap call from Decknafe with top pair.
That's a pretty easy call for Decknafe. It wasn't that much more. Phil usually protects his last chips like a mama bear with her baby cubs. I didn't expect them to go all in there.
So Decknafe has Phil Hellmuth squarely in his sights. Hellmuth looking for help, and help quickly.
Nice hand, Martin.
Poker brat misstep.
I knew you didn't have what you were supposed to have when you re-raised me.
And he knew you didn't have what you're supposed to have when you raised all in.
4 of spades. Phil picked up a flush draw. That really helps his cause.
Hellmuth needs a 3 or a spade, or his 2011 main event is over.
The river card, the 9 of clubs, and another flush draw comes up empty for Hellmuth at this World Series. Knocked out of the 2011 main event.
A great World Series ends on a sour note for 89 champ Phil Hellmuth.
Good game, man. Good game. Good game.
Phil gracious, saying his goodbyes,
Good game.
working his way to his vanquisher, Decknafe.
Thanks, Phil. Nice hand, Martin.
Thank you. Nice play.
Good game.
So Phil Hellmuth knocked out short of the money here at the main event. A very uncharacteristic way for the poker brat to make his exit, but he had an incredible summer here at the World Series of Poker. 3 second-place finishes and the lead in the Player of the Year race. Right now, Phil Hellmuth is down with Kara Scott.
Phil, talk to me about the last hand. You said he didn't have what he was supposed to have there. What did you put him on?
Well, I mean, I know he's going to re-raise me weak. He's playing crazy, and when he re-raised me before the flop, I just thought threes were good. I knew I'd have to make a read like that for my life today. I knew I'd have to make a read when I had sixes with 2 overcards or threes with 2 overcards. I was wrong. I mean, he happened to have king, queen.
Well, unfortunately, we say goodbye to you in this tournament, but you've had an amazing 2011 World Series. Can you reflect for me on that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's... we'll let history be the judge of the World Series. I mean, 3 seconds, it hurts a lot. I mean, but I know on some levels that, you know, I did really phenomenally well. Yeah, I can't go around talking about I'm great at this or great at that. I can't do that anymore. History has to be a judge of that.
And Europe's going to be a big part of that, I think, this year, the World Series Europe, and we do look forward to seeing you there. So thanks so much for coming back and talking to us here. Thank you.
Phil Hellmuth played his heart out here in Las Vegas. We'll see him in France. Phil Hellmuth perhaps down there walking off the sting of elimination. Here is Greg Mueller with some thoughts on Phil's knockout.
Interesting hand, Phil's bust-out hand. 2 threes. Come on, Phil. This guy folds 10s to ace-king, queens to kings. He's so good at dodging bullets. He's a survivalist. 20 big blinds with 2 threes, he decides to small raise, gets popped for 1/3 of a stack and calls. In his mind, he's thinking he's gonna get pushed around, he needs to take a stand with a pair. I don't like the play, fold the hand pre-flop. Look what happened. He was up against 2 big cards, the big cards connected, and Phil's out the door.
Well, the top 3 chip stacks do not have to worry about the money bubble, but many others do right now. We're down to 695 players, which means 2 more players need to be eliminated before the field makes the money. Over $19,000 is the first payout level. The winner in November gets over $8.7 million. Let's take a tour around the room. Vanessa Rousso doubled her stack here on day 4.
She remains tough, and she doesn't get her chips in bad too often.
Joseph Chung is the only 2010 November Niner left, but he's got trouble on his left with overall chip leader Daryl Jace.
But if this is the future of America, they've got to dress better.
Ben Lamb is chipped up, but he's well off the pace of the leaders.
He's got that Chamber of Commerce clean-cut poster boy look, but he's tricky.
Daniel Negreanu is a top pro in trouble with just 59,000.
Daniel with less than 12 big blinds left.
All around the room, short stacks are hoping for a miracle double up or just to hang on and make the money. Playing 4 full days and going home with nothing but a bad beat story is a bitter pill to swallow. Back at the secondary table, Sam Barnhart with the 3rd biggest stack in the room. Doesn't have much to worry about as far as the bubble is concerned.
With his chips, he can get a lot of macaroni and cheese now.
He and Kareem sit this one out. Camberis with King Jack of Diamonds.
He says he's become a better player since he became a poker teacher.
A raise to 11,000. Poirier with 7-6 on the button. Folds over to the big blind Fried Mulders with pocket 4s.
We saw Phil Hellmuth had 20 big blinds left when he played pocket 3s. Mulders here with 30 big blinds left with pocket 4s.
Looks like he'll play this hand. He calls for 6,000 more, heads up against Camberis. Alex Camberis starting the hand with 253,000 chips, 5-5-9, no diamonds. Mulders with 2 pair now leads. He checks. Camberis trying to bring his online aggression and make it work here in the live arena. No pair, but bet 16,500.
Mulders in a better spot here than Hellmuth was. He's got more chips, and that flop more likely to miss Alex Camberis than the Hellmuth flop with Martin Deknaef.
2 of the 3 short stacks here at this table. Mulders makes the call.
Alex goes, okay, well, I've got nothing. Let me think.
Turn card. Tray of clubs. Mulders still good. And he checks again.
I don't like Mulders' check calling mentality as his stack dwindles. All right, let's see if Camberis has thought of a plan B.
Yeah, plan B is check. All right, river card. 9. Mulders just got counterfeited with 2 pair on the board. His pocket 4s are no good. Camberis' king gives him the best hand.
Well, I wish Mulders had bet the turn, but this could work.
Mulders does bet at 28,000 now.
I call.
And a call.
Just with king high.
And Cambaris with guts will win that pot.
What a world-class call by Alex Cambaris there. Figured Mulders would check call the river with an ace. He's only betting with the nuts or nothing, and it was unlikely Mulders had a monster there.
So some very important chips for Cambaris on the bubble here. Into the field we go. Daniel Negreanu at risk, but ahead after flopping top pair with a queen. Andrea Vizzani needs help with his top pair and a 10.
Negreanu facing elimination, but he's got Vizzani in bad shape.
First time I've been all in the whole tournament. It's kind of scary. How about a queen?
Why not 10? Turn card now. Another 6. Negreanu still ahead.
6.
With an ace, king, or 6, they chop it.
Chop it. Chop.
Only a 10 busts Negreanu.
I don't want to chop it.
No, my bro.
No chop. The jack ensures Negreanu wins it outright. And he gets a hug from his girlfriend, Christina Polgar.
She was Miss Earth Hungary 2008. I was Miss Earth Maryland 1979.
A third player put chips in pre-flop before folding, so Daniel more than doubles up to 161,000.
He's got 30 big blinds. That feels like 100 big blinds to Daniel right now.
At another outer table, Jake Cody is all in again, and with ace-queen has Jonathan Stamp dominated.
Stamp, a 39-year-old Illinois pro.
Here's the flop now. Deuce King 10. Cody with a Broadway draw, but Stamp takes the lead with a pair of 10s. Now Cody looking for a saving card. Turn card is the 5 of hearts. No help to Jake Cody.
Jake Cody's going to need an ace or a jack to avoid the bubble.
The river card is a jack, and Cody's not going home just yet. He rivers Broadway.
Cash and a haircut could be coming soon.
They might start calling him the English River Rat. The bubble hasn't burst yet, but it will soon. Who will be the odd player out?
Let's try again. I bet he feels good. Feel good? Oh yeah, how do you feel? Go for boys.
Ukrainian Alexei Kovalchuk was only the second player from his country to win a bracelet when he took down the $2,500 no-limit hold'em six-handed event.
I'm very happy.
Poker commentators did well in the $1,500 stud high-low event as Mike Sexton finished second to Chris Fiox.
That was pretty exhilarating.
You turn first, you low life on a stick.
And my announced partner Norman Chad spread his joy by finishing 12th in that event. Congratulations, Norman. I was wondering why hell froze over that day.
I have now cashed twice in 19 World Series events. That's about as good as my Jack Link's wildcard hand record.
So we are now down to 694 players truly on the bubble. One to go before everyone else finishes in the money. Decknafe with a raise to 13,000 with 10-9 of hearts.
For the record, Mike Sexton is not a low life on a stick. He's a Poker Hall of Famer, a class act.
Mook thinking about the pocket 10s.
Next player out is our bubble boy.
The bubble is the elephant in the room right now. Mook made the call over to Mike DiGilio in the big blind from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
He's a 23-year-old pro.
With pocket trays, he calls for 8,000 more.
The first bubble boy, incidentally, was Alexander the Great at the Jack Binion Ancient Palestine Open in 331 BC.
Three players will see the flop. King 7-5, no set for the trays. DiGilio checks. Decknafe missed, he checks. Mook ahead with the pocket 10s.
Bet, son.
And he checks.
Ah!
6 of hearts. DiGilio picks up a gut shot. And he checks.
Yeah, if you check that flop in position with pocket 10s, you ought to be playing Parcheesi, not poker.
Decknafe with a better straight draw, bets 16,000. Mook's pocket 10 still in the lead and just makes the call. DiGilio folds his trays, so heads up to the river.
Decknafe postures with such a calm demeanor.
Another king there on the river. See, Mook's 10s are the best hand, but Decknafe has a stack of orange. He bets 110,000. That almost matches Mook's stack.
Decknafe, the most even-keeled maniac you'll ever see.
Sure he did.
And actually, this isn't maniacal. Decknafe has picked the perfect on-the-bubble spot to bluff.
I need more chips.
This is for virtually the rest of Mook's stack. How can he call here?
He doesn't, and a shrewd play by Decknafe will take that pot with the money bubble haunting all the short stacks.
I would snap him off if it's not the bubble.
Do you know what it's like to be the bubble boy? It's worse than Mr. Irrelevant at the NFL draft.
So Deck Nape, over 621,000 chips, is the leader at this featured table. One player to go. One of those players out there will be our 2011 Bubble Boy. And we do have a player all in on the left. Reza Khashani flopped top pair with a straight draw and shoved. Insta-called by Joseph Chung, who flopped a set of queens. Turn card is an 8, no help to Khashani.
Khashani owns a flooring company in Southern California. I expect the Bubble Boy to have earbuds and shades. He needs a 10 right now, or he's our Bubble Boy.
The river card is another queen. Quads sends Khashani home. And the last remaining November 9er from last year, Joseph Chung, scores the most meaningful knockout so far of this year's main event.
Chung feels no shame doing the dirty deed.
And the Bubble Boy will be ushered to the front of the room.
November 9ers have no sympathy for the bubble people.
Soon, 693 players in the Amazon room will cheer a man they've never met.
Ladies and gentlemen, with 693 players remaining, you are all in the money! Now, all of you are guaranteed $19,359.
I just texted my 2 kids and my wife to win the money.
Well, Jake Cody did it. So did Daniel Negreanu.
Miss Earth hungry.
Survived 6,200 eliminations to make the money. The hard part is over. The hardest part begins now. Making a run to the November 9, $8.7 million in the main event bracelet. Welcome back to the Rio, where the money bubble has just burst. Kara Scott is with the 694th place finisher, Reza Khashani.
You seem like a remarkably good sport considering you've just bubbled. Now, this is true actually. Reza didn't quite understand that you get a free entry into next year, right? So you're coming back.
Perfect. I hope I'm gonna be, good for next year. I hope I'm gonna be lucky.
Yeah. We'll see you next year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Call me Scrooge, but if you don't know you've won an entry to next year's main event, you shouldn't be able to play in next year's main event.
Joining the feature table, bracelet winner Todd Brunson, taking the seat of Jared Zito, one of the many short stacks who pushed all in and lost once the bubble broke. DeGilio with Queen Jack of spades. He's going to raise it up to 13,500.
And Phil Hellmuth is sitting somewhere grumbling, look at these bums who outlasted me.
Fold it around to Brunson. He lays down 4 trade. Deck Nafe now with pocket aces.
At the table, Deck Nafe looks like he's always about to solve an algebra problem.
A jacket was given to him by a friend from Brazil. It's autographed by the soccer great Ronaldo. Deck Nafe raises to 36,500. Sausas with pocket 8s makes the call.
Semi-Pro owns a security company.
Matthias Mook with pocket kings.
I'm all in.
And he shoves for his last 166,000.
Wow, Mook waking up with pocket kings at the absolute worst time.
Sinninger lays it down. Now Wayne Hines in the big blind. Folds. Action back to DeGilio. Is Queen Jack into the muck. Now how does Deck Nafe want to play it with Sausas behind him still?
Well, looks like he's not satisfied just to go heads up against Mook. He wants to find a way to keep Sausas around.
And you're right, Norman. Just a call here.
Looking for a heads-up side pot with Sausas.
Sausas still pocket 8s. And Charalampos gets rid of it. So aces versus kings. Mook in trouble and all in.
We saw Deck Nafe bluff Mook just before the bubble burst. Now he's holding the goods and about to bust Mook.
So Deck Nafe trying to claim a victim, trying to claim a lot more chips. Here's the flop. It is 6-5-4. Great flop for the aces.
And very little hope in that flop for Mook.
Mook looking for something on the turn to give him hope. And that trade does. There's a straight draw on the board. That also gave Deck Nafe a flush draw.
Mook now can chop the pot with a non-heart deuce or 7. Only the king of spades gives him the whole pot. Otherwise, he's done.
The river card is a 7, but the 7 of hearts, and Deck Nafe flushes Mook out of the main event.
Tough way to go, but he's in the money, and the gift shop sells t-shirts.
So Matthias Smook, the latest victim of the 2011 main event. Martin Decknafe retakes the chip lead at this table with over 700,000. At an outer table, Jake Cody once again trying to survive his all-in. He's at risk with King 10 against the pocket jacks of Fabio Sosa pre-flop.
The youngest Triple Crown winner ever on the edge again.
We've seen Cody come through on the river in a couple of hands. He'll take it anywhere he can get it now. He's at risk. Flop 5-6-4, no help to Jake Cody.
The 25K heads-up bracelet winner in danger of leaving us.
Turn card now, another 5. Cody down to his last card again.
Jake Cody looking for a king and a king only, or he is gone.
The river card, the 10 of hearts, not to be this time for Jake Cody. Sosa wins the hand, and Cody exits with his third cash of this World Series of Poker.
Yeah, great World Series. Actually, he can use some new clothes, too.
And this bracelet winner says his goodbyes. Why are you here? Are you here to say you made it past day one?
That tastes like the end of day one.
Are you here to say you made the money? Or are you here to become the next World Series of Poker main event champion?
Yeah, I win it. You know who wins the main event, whether you like poker or not, and that's why it's the one event that I want to win more than any other.
You really have to play good every single day, every hour, every hand for 8 days straight.
Can I make it happen? One time?
Tonight, we find out who is here to play. Welcome back to our coverage of the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. The money bubble has burst here on day 4, so now pros and amateurs alike must set loftier goals. Pro Eric Lindgren just secured his first main event cash.
Another monkey off his back lawn. This guy travels with a lot of monkeys.
Daniel Negreanu's short stack needs some immediate attention.
Short stack medic to table 17. Short stack medic to table 17.
2010 November 9er Joe Chong can still make back-to-back final tables.
I don't think so.
Ben Lamb's day 4 is going as planned.
If it's going as planned, why does he take off his jacket and stay a while?
And there is your chip leader, 23-year-old Daryl Jace.
Perk up, son. It's beautiful here at the Rio, and you're on top of the heap.
Jace leads a field that, as it shrinks, makes chip millionaires quite rapidly. 51-year-old Little Rock native Sam Barnhart in third. Young German pro Payus Hines is making some noise, and Lamb sits in 5th place right now. The current payout, just over $19,000. Let's get to the outer tables where pro Jean-Robert Bellande is all in for his last 13 big blinds with Queen 4 of spades, trying to avoid being knocked out by Scott Shelley's Ace-Jack. Here's the flop, and Queen's up for Bellande.
Bellande gets lucky.
Kind of what?
Shelley, a 2010 bracelet winner.
Turn card, 5 of clubs.
Can I get excited yet? Oh.
Not yet. Shelley just picked up a wheel draw.
Go sweat.
Jean-Robert has celebrated prematurely before.
The river card now, 10 of hearts. And with an excellent flop, Jean-Robert will double up.
See, Jean-Robert, you don't always run bad.
No, you made a good call.
Pretty easy, cool, really good start. I'm playing 20 big, you're playing less.
Jean-Robert will hang around.
Pardon me?
It's a nice hand.
Hey. Nice one that holds up. Nice one that wins. What am I saying? Holds up. I got lucky. I had the 3-4.
With so much on the line at this main event, it's always interesting to see which players want to win and which players need to win. Wanting to win can make you over-aggressive. Needing to win can tighten you up. Norman, of the remaining field, who are you keeping your eye on?
I watched 2 players closely at this event, Phil Ivey and Patrick Antonius. One didn't play and the other busted on day 3, which means I have to focus elsewhere, and so now I will gaze upon Ben Lamb, Daniel Negreanu, and Jean-Robert Bellande. Lamb feels like the next big thing. Negreanu, win or lose, is endlessly entertaining, and Bellande is oddly fascinating. I always feel like I'm rubbernecking when I'm watching him.
Well, no crash and burn yet for Bellande, who finished in 78th place at the main event last year, but he has little room for error. Over to our secondary table. The top stack here in third overall is Sam Barnhart.
He's got 3 looks, sometimes glasses on, sometimes shades on, sometimes all natural.
Patrick Poirier was the leader at the start of the day. He's lost almost $1 million.
He keeps sending his chips into the middle on day 4, and they don't come back.
And the Frenchman with the pink hair, Guillaume Darcourt, with almost $500,000.
He has his own production company that does TV commercials.
Action on Alex Camberis on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Hole Cam. 9-7 into the muck.
Very small jumps in payout right now, Lon. So if you have designs on winning this main event, this is a good time to gamble.
Action on Eric Aladny, 23-year-old with ace-king off.
Unfortunately wearing a New York baseball cap.
And he's going to raise it up to $14,000.
You know, we played around with my 3-blind proposal recently at Hollywood Park. Small blind, big blind, super blind, more blinds, more action, more fun.
Folded to Stuart Tuvey with pocket fours, 22-year-old from the San Francisco Bay Area.
3 blinds, it's the future.
And a re-raise from Tuvey to $36,000. All right, now folded to Sam Barnhart with pocket queens in the small blind.
Or if you don't have small blind, big blind, super blind, you can have 2 small blinds in a big blind, but I like saying super blind.
Barnhart with 2 raises in front of him and the queens.
Re-raise.
And there you go. He makes it $73,000.
That's an old school re-raise, a 4-bet with a real hand. Ladney is new school, and Tuvey, I think, is middle school.
Action on Ladney, known as Avril Sharapova online.
All in.
And he announces all in for $224,000 with ace-king off.
That's going to be too rich for Tuvey's blood.
Yeah, Tuvey gets out of the way. And Barnhart makes the call with his queens, and we've got a race for Ladney's tournament life.
Now, Barnhart gets what he wants. He didn't want a 3-way flop with pocket queens. It was an easy call for Sam with a big stack.
And Barnhart got a big hand. Ladney at risk.
Thank you. You got to win these races.
This is sort of the Yankees versus the Confederates 2011 edition.
All right, here we go. Ladney trailing, needs help immediately. 5-5 jack, no ace, no king. Barnhart still ahead. Ladney with 2 more streets to try to survive.
Ladney doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Maybe he knows something.
Turn card. 6 of diamonds. Ladney down to his last chance.
Ladney is going to need an ace or a king, or he is whamboozled.
The river card, the deuce of diamonds, and Ladney is indeed whamboozled. Barnhart wins it with queens up.
All right, thank you.
Sam once again the tournament leader.
Good luck, boys.
How do you do it, man? How do you do it?
And a good showing for the Penn State grad. This was his 10th career World Series cash.
Thought I was going to get some of his chips up there.
Sam adds about 270,000 new chips to his big stack. To the outer tables once again. Tony Hashem on the left just flopped a set of 3s and checked against Michael Hallen, who caught top pair with his kings. Hallen just bet 13,000. Tony, the brother of 05 world champ Joe Hashem, makes the call.
Hashem's got Hallen nailed.
Turn card now. 10 of diamonds. Hallen improves to kings up, but that's just trouble for him. Hashem checks. Hallen checks. River card, 6 of diamonds. The set is best for Hashem, and he's going to bet 25,000. Hallen raises all in. A snap call from Hashem, and that's the last we'll see of Michael Hallen.
Payout 365.
Hallen thought he had Hashem trapped, but will take his leave with his 6th cash of this World Series.
So a big win, a key win for Hashem, as Hallen will hit the rail. The payout's up to over 21,000 now.
Well played by Tony Hashem. He's from a world champion gene pool.
He sits with about an average stack right now. To Ben Lamb's table, Jamie Kerstetter is all in with pocket jacks. Lamb trying to knock her out with ace-king. Kerstetter's final 180,000 up for grabs.
Kerstetter, a former tax attorney from New Jersey, racing with pocket jacks.
The flop is 8-10 king, a king for Lamb to take the lead.
Why doesn't Ben Lamb pick on somebody his own stack size? Jeez.
Turn card now, Kerstetter in serious trouble. 6 of diamonds, no help to her.
Jamie Kerstetter has to have a jack.
The river card. The 10 of spades, and Lamb will win it. Kerstetter's gone.
1 woman less now in the main event field, and 1 man with a lot more chips.
So Lamb, a newly minted bracelet winner at this summer's World Series, increases his stack by 20%. Once again, he's running like Ben Lamb at this World Series of Poker. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker Main Event, Day 4. 584 players remain, with the average stack up to almost 353,000. Let's get back to Jean-Robert Bellande's table. He raised with ace-9 of hearts. He was 3-bet by Frank Sermonara, and presto, his pocket fives. Bellande's stack is less than half that the size of his opponent.
Sermonara, a 60-year-old businessman from Kenosha, Wisconsin. One of my favorite places, home of the Longaberger Basket Fest.
Oh, and their office looks like a Longaberger basket. It's an amazing thing to see. All right, here we go to the flop. Bellande and Sermonara. 6 Queen 9. Bellande catches a piece of that.
Kenosha's also got the Dinosaur Museum. You and I may be in there one day long.
Sermonara's pocket fives now second best, but he does bet 50,000. Bellande leads with a pair of 9s, and he makes a call.
Bellande in position, can control the size of the pot.
Turn card now. Jack of hearts. Bellande still ahead.
When I cashed this year, Lon, I focused on pot size, pot control, pot management.
You only played in limit events.
Why do you always rain on my parade?
Check, check to the river. Another 9. Jean-Robert Rivers trips. Action on Sermonara now. His 9s and 5s have no shot unless he bets, but he does check.
This is the second straight main event cash for Bellande, former pool player, nightclub promoter, restaurant owner, Survivor contestant. Right now, giving us a little Hollywood.
Yeah.
Unsure what to do with his trip 9s.
I'm sure he's got his SAG card already. He's putting it to good use. Now he's cutting out some chips, 80,000 worth.
Well, Jean-Robert here going with the hard count, trying to draw Sermonara offsides. Jean-Robert loves the camera.
Bellande, well, he's the one, I think, who should be penalized.
It's got to be a legal procedure, no?
84,000.
Bellande with a bet of 84,000 finally.
Finally.
What does Sermonara think of all that theater? And he raises Jean-Robert all in.
Wow. I didn't expect that. The check raise puts Bellande all in and puts him to the test.
No snap call from Jean-Robert.
If I call you and I'm right, I'm a contender. If I fold.
If he folds, he's left with 15 big blinds. He's getting 5-1 on his money here. If Jean-Robert calls, he'll have 90 big blinds.
It's a hell of a play if you bluff me. It's a hell of a play if you have it.
And of course, this is for all of Bellande's chips. It's a tough spot. If he's wrong, he's gone.
Can I make that play with 8,000?
There is always drama at Bellande's table.
You deserve it, buddy. Play call. Call.
Bellande makes the call all in.
Good call.
No, you.
Huh? You said good call?
I said you made a hell of a good call. Yeah, you made a hell of a call.
And Bellande knows he's doubled up.
Good call.
It doesn't matter. It's a hell of a play either way. That's a hell of a play, brother. Seriously, man. Hell of a play.
Now give me your chips.
What, man. Give me some big balls. You're going to see a lot from me for sure. Wow.
You know, at the end of many Jean-Robert Bellande hands, it feels like we've all walked through a car wash.
Quite a gut check there for Bellande. Sermonara loses a big chunk of his stack down to 475. Bellande up to over $500,000.
Well, boys, the bad news is I got chips. Put on your seatbelts. Put on your seatbelts. It's time to play poker.
Well, Norman, Jean-Robert's got some talking chips.
Go figure.
At the secondary table, Belgian amateur Frieden Molders is all in pre-flop with Queen Jack. Patrick Poirier called with pocket trays. Molders all in for his last 87,000.
Molders, the 26-year-old IT consultant, was down to under 15 big blinds.
Poirier down to 300,000, hoping something goes right for him. The flop 8 trays 7, and there's a set for Patrick.
You see, Poirier always assumes the position, even when he's about to bust you. Molders are going to need runner straight.
Turn card. 4 of diamonds, and that will end it. Poirier sends Frieden Molders out the door.
Good game, man. Good game.
See you guys.
Poirier finally getting back on the right track as he knocks out Molders, who will take home over $21,000.
21 grand should buy him a new outfit.
On the grind.
Finally, a smile from the beleaguered Patrick Poirier. At an outer table, after Vanessa Rousso raised pre-flop with ace-king, fellow pro David Bach shoved with aces for $233,000. Rousso began the hand with about 1 million chips and is doing some serious calculations.
Rousso giving it some thought. This might be a quick call for most people. To her credit, not for Vanessa.
Bach sitting stone-faced with his aces.
One of Run DMC's best songs was It's Tricky, which just about summarizes this spot for Vanessa.
How do you know that?
I call.
And she makes the call. Bach at risk, but way ahead with the aces.
I almost folded, dude. I almost folded. Like,
You almost folded
I
ace
believed you.
king? Wow, you're sick.
No, I believed him.
That's a
I
snap
knew
call.
it.
Ace King almost hit the muck.
You just got slow rolled.
David Bach about to double up into a nice chip neighborhood.
Here's the flop. Jack 6-8, a hot, dry desert for Vanessa.
Vanessa's gonna need runner.
You got a straight draw.
Bach sees the 4 of diamonds, and that means Vanessa's drawing dead, and Bach's aces gets the double up.
Nice double up.
It took so long to put the river in it.
Russo's still in great shape, but she lost about a quarter of her stack there.
David Bach now up to almost $500,000. Vanessa down to 778.
Your instincts were spot on. Your instincts were spot on.
It's insane. Like, how does she?
Bach went for broke with the aces, but did not go broke. A nice battle between two talented pros. Welcome back to Las Vegas as Day 4 of the World Series of Poker Main Event continues. Inside the Amazon room, the story of Sam Barnhart continues to blossom. He's not an internet whiz, and he wasn't turned on to poker by Chris Moneymaker's victory. Imagine that.
Sam Barnhart, 51 years old, Little Rock, Arkansas. My introduction to poker started out in the hunting club with my father and the regular hunters there. The allure of watching my father and them was the competitiveness. I mean, that was just fascinating to me. Hunting was a big part of our lives. Big part. Here is some of the guns he used, and this one here, I have killed many of squirrels. It's a little 22. I've got a really diverse background because I spent 15 years in clinical research, and I've worked in several disciplines as epidemiology, prostate, breast cancer, and 5 years in cardiology. Most of the people I've worked with over the years would be absolutely shocked at my poker success. Little Rock is a place where you know your neighbors. How about that? The support is just really been great. I can't ask for any better.
Thank you. It was great to meet you.
You too.
Sam works in the field of informatics, which means I cannot have a conversation with him.
All right, and Sam Barnhart has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand under the gun.
I got to figure him out. His hobby is astronomy. He's too smart for me.
Sam with the biggest stack at this table and in the room. Over 1.7 million with chips in hand.
I raise.
And he raises to 16,000. Go at it, Norman.
Well, under the gun, I think he's going to dabble in the Lon McCarran Memorial hand, pocket jacks.
Wow, I pity the fool. Roll it over to Alex Camberis. 5-4 goes into the muck.
Barnhart has degrees in computer science and biology. I have a degree in American studies, which involved watching a lot of television.
Robert Tamillion, Uruguayan native, lives in Australia, lays it down to Stuart Tuvey now on the button with 2 black aces.
22-year-old from Sunnyvale, California, the Kenosha of the West. Or is it the Little Rock of the West?
He's up 150,000 on this day 4 so far. And not to steal your thunder, but this could be a short wild card hand with the aces. A re-raise to 47,000.
Well, I hope Sam doesn't have pocket jacks. He'd have a chance in this hand if he had C or D, 9-8 suited, or Queen Jack suited. Of course, Tuvey capable of 3-betting on the button with garbage, and Sam knows that.
If you're playing stakes that high, it can easily be worth it. Back to Barnhart now after Tuvey just re-raised it to 47,000. And Sam's going to come along. So Tuvey's aces get a caller. He loves that.
I got Sam on pocket jacks.
All right, here's the flop. Queen, deuce, king, 2 diamonds, no jack in there. Barnhart checks.
Remember, we saw Tuvey execute a big bluff on an earlier Jack Links wildcard hand against Fried Molders.
No bluffing from Tuvey here with the pocket aces. And he does bet about half the pot, 55,000.
Well, if Sam calls here, he definitely could have A, top pair, top kicker, or pocket jacks, or D, pair of queens with a flush draw.
He does call.
I'm leaning now towards A or D.
All right, A or D. Turn card. The 9 puts a 3rd diamond out there. Sam checks again.
If I were Tuvey, that card would scare me, Lon. Flush got there, up and down straight draw got there. But Tuvey is not me. Tuvey is a man, and I watch men for a living.
How much?
That's 95,000 from Tuvey.
If Sam had D, I think he'd beat Tuvey into the pot with a queen-high flush. He could be acting, but I don't believe he's that good of an actor, so I think he's agonizing here with a decision holding A. Ace-king. Wondering if Tuvey made his flush.
Sam's pretty much a Renaissance man. He could be an actor as well.
No, Little Rock's too far off Broadway.
All right.
And a check raise from Barnhart, making it 300,000.
Okay, scratch my previous thought, Lon. Actually, scratch all my previous thoughts. If Sam is check raising here on the turn, he's holding the goods. D. Queen Jack suited. He's got the diamond flush. Tuvey had fallen in love with the pocket aces, but he now knows he could be drawing dead.
Tuvey, the look of worry, and he lays the aces down. He did have the queen jack. You were finally right.
I think I guessed every card combination in the deck before I got the right one.
Barnhart with the flush wins the Jack Links Beef Jerky wild card hand. For a pro's take on that hand, let's hear from Greg Mueller.
Tuvey, 2 aces. Barnhart, queen jack of diamonds. Both have a lot of chips. I like the way these guys played this hand. Barnhart knew he was up against a big hand, decided to play the pair and a flush draw fairly slow. Tuvey wanted the information on the awful turn card, fired pretty big, folded when he got check raised. Anytime you fold 2 aces, you're making a big fold. And in poker, when you want to survive tournaments, you have to make big folds. I like the way both these guys played their hands.
It is a big man who knows when to give up the aces. On to one pro who's been on a slippery slope during day 4. Daniel Negreanu right now is all in with ace high and a wheel draw, trying to somehow overcome the flop set of 4s held by Kenichi Takaki.
Negreanu's disappointing World Series about to end.
Turn card, tray of spades. Negreanu adds a flush draw.
Daniel now has to have a spade other than the 5 or a deuce.
And the river card is a spade, and Daniel delivers the bad beat and survives. 2 other players called Daniel's all in before folding, so Daniel got a little healthier.
What is correct?
Quadrupled up.
Negreanu with only 12 big blinds, but hey, he's still kicking. 564 players, about 300 media, hundreds of fans. The Amazon room remains quite crowded here on day 4. To bracelet winner / newlywed / Laker fan Eric Lindgren, his pocket aces were good until Maxime Nault flopped kings full on him.
Lindgren finally won his first bracelet in 2008. This was blind versus blind.
Nault with a bet now of 52,500 after the 8 came on the turn.
Boy, Nault had flopped kings full, as you mentioned. Like we heard Greg Mueller say, it's tough to fold pocket aces. Eric is in a quandary.
Lindgren started the hand with about $500,000. Nault with about 250,000.
Like his buddy Daniel Negreanu, Lindgren has had a disappointing 2011 World Series overall, but he's trying to make his first main event cash change all that.
Eric, now with a taste of that money, would like to stick around a lot longer. And he gives up the aces.
I'll show
You have to show it to the camera.
And Nault shows that Eric was right.
That's got to make Lindgren feel better. Nault decides to take the jacket off to collect his chips. Frankly, I think it's more proper to keep your jacket on when dragging a pot. There you go. He's a gentleman.
Well, Eric made a friend. Always nice to have your opponent show his cards.
Yeah, show the next card to the cameras. You can.
Oh, what would the next card be now? That's what they're asking.
Oh, you're not supposed to do that.
Wait, what's that over there? Eric now goes rabbit hunting. Just show the camera then. Just show the camera. Just show the camera. At least they're gonna know. What would the river card have been? An ace!
That's why you shouldn't rabbit hunt, Lon. You sometimes find something you don't want to see.
Did she already burn them? No.
Yeah, you did.
I burned. Yeah, you did. Oh my God. Well, not got quite lucky.
What was that, though? The one-sided bro hug? Not on my watch.
To the poker arena, where we have a new group seated at the feature table.
Okay, no one try to be a hero on TV. Let's just all be nice and calm. No need to go make crazy bluffs. You'll get off the feature table and then you'll have no TV time.
Nachman Berlin from Brooklyn setting the ground rules. Vanessa Rousso has the biggest stack here.
Especially on my blinds, because I'm very comfortable with TV.
I'm still not comfortable with TV.
We all saw David Bach get doubled up earlier by Vanessa. He sits with just under $500,000. We look at the chip counts for this featured table. Vanessa with 834,000. Dwayne Alexander with 639. There you see Bach's total. A very tough player is the short stack at this table. Joe Surrock with 122,000. Vanessa Rousso, the chip leader at this table, will start the hand with the button. Action on Dwayne Alexander now. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Whole Cam, Pocket Kings.
I believe that is a hand sanitizer on top of Alexander's stack. That is a statement.
A raise to 14,000 from Alexander. Kind of a don't set off any big alarms type of raise. Over to Rousso with Ace King again.
How many chips do you start the hand with? What are the greens? The greens are 25?
Yeah, the greens are 25,000.
So you have about like 450?
600 plus
600?
probably. Sorry, I got my orange. Let me readjust this for you.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of hiding.
He's got 600,000 plus the $2.99 hand
I didn't
sanitizer.
stack these chips. They did it.
Vanessa seems taken by that hand sanitizer. If she busts him, Lon, I believe she gets it.
I wonder if that will go in the pot. Yeah. Vanessa known as Lady Maverick.
Well, she's got an Ace King at inopportune times today.
I raise.
From the button, she announces raise.
Alexander, a 31-year-old pro from San Antonio.
Vanessa makes it 40,000. Small blind folds. Big blind releases his hand. Now action back to Alexander.
Yes, you got me.
She's got him covered by about 200,000 chips.
He's asking the dealer to pull in her raise to see how much she has behind.
Well, tough sledding for Rousso. We saw her Ace King run into David Bach's pocket aces. Now her Ace King runs into Dwayne Alexander's pocket kings.
Well, the Kings aren't going anywhere, but just a call. So heads up, Vanessa Rousso way behind, and that's a very good flop for the Kings of Alexander, and he checks to Vanessa.
Vanessa was valedictorian in high school, graduated Duke in 2.5 years. She was day trading in college. I was oversleeping 11 a.m. classes in college, Lon.
Vanessa cutting out some more chips. 60,000 is the bet. Alexander loves to see that.
Raise.
Those are the calling chips. He just announced a raise, though.
Well, how much is he going to raise, Lon?
Let's find out. The raise is 150 for a total of 210.
Well, back in the day, you bluff with a continuation bet on the flop. You get raised, you simply fold. This is a different day. Let's see what Rousso wants to do against Alexander.
Alexander does not want to lose her as a customer.
Huh, I don't believe you. But
she says she didn't believe him, but she makes the right fold.
And Alexander will take that pot from Vanessa Rousso, whose Ace King comes up short once again. And Alexander shows his kings.
Well, now Vanessa believes him.
Good fold by Vanessa Rousso.
nice hand, nice hand.
Free information. I'm not always bluffing.
I wasn't either. It was just like.
If Vanessa keeps running into kings and aces, it's going to be a very unsatisfying day 4 for this pro.
I'm not always bluffing.
Welcome back to the Rio 2008 November Niner. Dennis Phillips has been knocked out.
Gotta win your races.
And 0-2 champ Robert Varconi becomes the last main event champion eliminated. No victory, but a kiss from his wife, Olga.
Nice guys don't always finish first.
Here on day 4, the cream of this year's crop at the main event beginning to rise to the top. Sam Barnhart is once again the chip leader. The field quickly nearing the 500-player mark. Negreanu and Bellande, as we've seen, lucky to still be in the hunt. 14 women began day 4 in the main event. 9 remain. One of those remaining women is Vanessa Rousso. When she's not playing poker, she's trying out a brand new hobby, golf.
Back in college when I was at Duke, I got really into Tiger Woods golf. I learned a lot about the theory of golf. Once I was done with law school, found myself playing poker where I'm always inside and really wanting to find a way to spend more time outside. So I went out and started taking lessons and getting into it, going to the driving range, playing with all my different friends, anyone who would take the time to teach me a thing or two. And it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and especially enjoy getting to spend time outside.
Vanessa's always mixing it up. She took flying lessons when she was in law school. She did a photo shoot for Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and she was a celebrity judge on Bank of Hollywood on E!
And don't forget, she's a skydiver as well. She loves to have fun. Joe Surrock with 10-9 of clubs and a raise to 13,000. 4 deuce for Nachman Berlin into the muck. Vanessa with pocket sixes.
Vanessa recommends The Art of War by Sun Tzu. When you're reading the book, she says you'll learn game theory by taking the word war and replacing it with tournament poker. Seems to me it'll take a lot longer to read the book that way.
Vanessa made the call of 13,000. This is her first cash of the World Series this year. Folded over to Alexander, who's texting, and so he'll fold. David Bach with Queen Jack of Hearts.
His nickname is Gunslinger. He bought the hat playing in the Aussie Millions one year.
From the big blind, he will call for 7,000 more.
I wonder if The Art of War is available on books on tape.
3 players to flop. 6, 10, 9. What a flop. Rousso hits a set to lead, but Bach is open-ended and he checks. Surrock hits top 2 pair.
Surrock, 23-year-old Las Vegas pro, 13 World Series cashes. Twice he's finished runner-up in World Series events. He's getting low on chips here.
Almost $1 million in live earnings for Surrock. He bets 25,000. Now to Vanessa with her set of sixes.
Raise.
And a min raise to 50,000. To Bach now.
David Bach with the draw, with a bet and a raise in front of him. This is his 17th World Series cash, and he made 2 final tables this year alone.
David Bach taking a lot of time with this decision.
Bach says his strength is getting inside people's heads. Don't know what's inside his head at this moment.
All in.
He says all in.
Wow.
That's 442,000 back to Surrock, who flopped 10s and 9s.
Yeah, what do you do when you lead out with top 2 pair, then it's raised and re-raised all in behind you, and this decision is for your remaining chips?
He's the short stack at this table with just 113,000 behind.
You know, it's possible Rousso raised with a big pocket pair and Bach re-raised with exactly what he has, a draw. So your 10s and 9s could be good here, but this is for his main event. Of course, he'd be left with less than 20 big blinds if he folds here, but it's hard to imagine Joe Surrock feels real good about his hand right now.
He folds.
I don't think I can fold this. Worst case scenario, I guess I'm 32%. Worst case. I mean, if you flop the nuts, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But I think you would do that with 9s and 10s. I think. I'm allowed to talk to myself, right? Am I allowed to talk to myself? I don't know. I don't want to be breaking any rules.
Just don't answer yourself. You're allowed to talk. You're all right.
A huge moment for Vanessa.
Yeah, you're Vanessa Rousso. You can talk.
You can ask, you just can't ask.
I mean, I gotta think that it's gonna re-raise 9s or 10s pre-flop. It's not set over set. 7-8 makes sense, but I mean, I'm 40%, 32, 35.
392.
If she puts him on a straight, she actually would not be getting quite the right price to call. And of course, if she puts him on a bigger set, she's pretty much dead. But those are the only hands that beat Vanessa.
You just always got me, right? Like the ace king to the aces. I just have a sicko feeling about this. Oh, 392. So sick. 100.
What a move here by David Bach. If she calls, his main event is in immediate peril. Vanessa would have to call off more than half her remaining stack here.
Vanessa with bottom set. Bach just on a draw.
I have to call.
And she does make the call to put Bach at risk. And Bach needs help.
I was hoping you didn't have a set.
Good luck.
Good call, and the affable Bach in deep trouble. Vanessa Rousso took her time and made the right call.
She does not look very comfortable with 2 cards to come. Bach on the draw for his tournament life. The turn card, and Bach wastes little time in hitting his straight. Vanessa is crushed.
That is so sick.
Rousso now needs to board the pair as long as it's not the 9 of hearts, which would give Bach a straight flush to knock him out.
The river card. The 2 of spades seals the double up for Bach, who's on the uptick again with almost $1 million.
Absolutely. Great call. Great call, Vanessa.
Tough blow for Rousso. Joe Surrock made the right decision, Vanessa Rousso made the right decision, and David Bach made himself a nice chip stack.
As you can see, for the folks at home, running really well today. Wow. Gosh,
Vanessa struggled so with her decision, figured she was ahead, but was run down on the turn.
Why?
What can you do? You played it fine.
I don't know why. Oh well.
I had 10-9, I would have been out. Top 2.
Yeah, you gotta get in. Yeah. Top 2. Yeah, you got.
Bach takes ownership of another healthy chunk of Vanessa Rousso's chip stack. He is now the big dog at this table. Vanessa Rousso below 300,000, which is plenty to work with right now, but oh, what could have been.
Crazy.
I'm all in.
I just have a sicko feeling about this. I have to call. Why?
It was a good day for Blue Devils at the World Series of Poker when 2 Duke grads won bracelets back-to-back in a $1,500 no-limit hold'em event. Rising tournament star Andy Frankenberger was number 1.
This is my first major cash in 2011. It just feels that much better to actually get here.
While fellow alumnus Chris Lee took down the $2,500 six-handed 10-game mix event.
It's actually my first cash of the summer, so it was all the run bad of the early in the summer, I guess, paid off for this tournament, so I'm really happy.
Duke usually gets all the calls. I assume that's how those guys won their bracelets. Vanessa also went to Duke, and she made the right call on David Bach, but it didn't work out.
She does need some of that Duke run good right now. David Bach has the run good pocket aces and a raise to 15,000.
Vanessa says her biggest problem in poker is controlling her emotions, particularly when losing a hand. That last one is going to be tough to shake off.
Nachman Berlin toying with 5 deuce of clubs, but he gives it up finally. Vanessa with Queen Jack offsuit, and she will make the call.
Boy, and she's up against Bach's pocket aces for the second time here on day 4.
All right, so these 2 will see a flop. 5 Jack 6 top pair for Vanessa, but that pales next to Bach's aces.
Top pair is trouble.
Rousso checked it to David. And Bach bets 25,000.
Flop and top pair is very dangerous here for Vanessa Rousso.
Vanessa started the hand with under 300,000. She makes the call here. More than a 3-1 underdog is Vanessa. Turn card, 9 of spades. No improvement to Rousso. And she checks again.
Bach in commanding position with pocket aces. He might think he's up against a draw, but he's in even better shape than that.
Bach bets 55,000 this time.
And it's possible Rousso puts David Bach on a draw. He has tormented her of late.
David Bach striking that Sphinx pose. Vanessa Rousso trying to figure him out.
Raise.
And announces a raise.
There's the 55, and I make it. $55 more.
There you hear it, 55 more, back to Bach.
Curious min raise there from Vanessa Rousso. If Bach were on a draw, he'd be getting great pot odds right now to chase it.
Bach has Vanessa on the hook.
How much does that leave behind?
About 120.
129.
Yeah, 130.
Oh, 130.
And if Vanessa were to fold here to any re-raise, she'd be left with about 21 big blinds.
with the aces.
Come on.
He's going for it all.
I call.
And she calls all in with limited outs.
Wow. All right, you got my number, like in the worst way ever.
Vanessa now in dire straits.
One time. I may never be on TV again.
Hey, enjoy it, boss.
David Bach in position to take the last of Vanessa Rousso's chips.
Russo has to have a queen or a jack.
The river card, the 8 of spades, and Vanessa Rousso's main event, which looked quite promising just a short time ago, is over.
It was an honor to play with you, Vanessa.
Lady Maverick done in by Gunslinger.
She had been so disciplined in her play, but after the bad beat at the hands of David Bach, she overplays her queen jack, and bang, bang, her main event is over.
You can see the disbelief in Vanessa's eyes. David Bach up to 1.2 million.
Took all my... That's all I wanted to do.
I hurt a little bit. My heart hurts.
How could she not be crushed after that devastating sequence of salvos in quick succession? A deep run truly not in the cards for Vanessa Rousso.
Things can happen quickly in No Limit Hold'em, of course. How do you brush this off and kind of move forward with the next tournament, Vanessa?
Well, I mean, being a poker player, I've definitely taken beats, I guess, like this before, not with quite so much on the line. So that part sucks. I mean, yeah, I'll probably agonize over my decisions for the next couple weeks and, you know, see if I can learn anything from the situation. But yeah, it's sort of difficult, you know. But in an event with 8,000 players, you got to think that you have to not only make good decisions, but you have to also not get unlucky. And so I guess it was just David's day to get all my chips.
Well, thank you so much for coming back and talking to us.
Yeah.
Bach healthy again thanks to Vanessa, but you can never let your guard down in a no-limit game, as Kara alluded to. At an outer table, Ben Lamb poised to crush another main event dream as pocket tens, leading the ace tray of Ukrainian Anton Makievsky.
Makievsky all in with ace rag with 50 big blinds left, and Ben Lamb about to hand him his exit visa.
All right, here is the flop, and it is tray 4, playing ace small. Sometimes can work.
Makievsky apparently does not get stoked unless he sees quads or better.
Turn card now is a 4, pairs the board, a boat for Anton, but that doubles Ben's minimal outs.
Yeah, and Lamb figures I'm running so good, it's like a coin flip for me now. I'll get the 4 or the 10 on the river to knock this guy out.
The river card, the 5 of clubs, and that secures the double up for Makievsky.
Well, we have found out the formula to beat Ben Lamb. Go all in as more than a 2-to-1 dog in flop trips.
Well, Anton is happy despite how he looks right now. He's had a very good day 4, especially after sucking out on Ben Lamb. All right, let's go to the secondary table once again, which is occupied by tournament chip leader Sam Barnhart with almost 2 million chips.
And what a great story the Little Rock amateur is weaving.
He's sitting in the small blind action right now on Alex Camberis. Alex hasn't been able to get much going on the Jackling Speed Jerky hole cam. Jack 8 into the muck. Patrick Poirier with Queen 8 of diamonds.
Poirier, the Ben Lamb of Tupper Lake, New York. He's my guy.
He flew so high as the chip leader. Right now, Poirier just one of the pack. He raised it up to 13,000.
By the way, congratulations to 3-time bracelet winner Miami John Cernudo, his first main event cash ever in 15 tries. And congratulations to Dennis Phillips, who we saw earlier, his third main event cash in 4 years. Remember, he used to be an amateur. Lon, you and I are still amateurs in every pursuit there is.
Isn't that true? Folded to Johan Zowie, who calls 13,000 with ace 9 off. Now to Guillaume Darcourt on the button with pocket 5s. He also calls.
Back to Vanessa Rousso for a second. The way she went out, it's so tough to shake off, Lon. It's the main event. She takes that bad beat to David Bach. She's going to win that hand 7 out of 10 times. And if she wins it, who knows how deep she goes. Who knows when you get into that position again.
3-way coin flip right now. Darcourt is best with the pocket 5s. Here is the flop, and it is 5 ace deuce. Darcourt flops a set. Poirier comes up empty. Action on him.
He's going to aggravate his poker elbow.
Drawing dead. With chips in hand, 24,000 to Zowie now. Top pair is worth 2% right now.
The ex-boxer, though, getting low stacked here. Flopping top pair. He's got to be thinking about pushing.
Morning.
And that's what he does for his last 138,000. Now Darcourt.
All right, what Darcourt is going to give us a little Gerard Depardieu here?
Poirier still to act after him.
How could I fold that? I can't fold that.
I mean, if I fold that, it would be a huge hero fold.
I think Darkour is trying to induce Poirier to call behind him.
I don't say nothing.
A performance for one man.
I'm not famous for hero fold.
Just a call. Poirier can't play, though. So heads up, Zowie at risk.
An easy fold for Poirier. No Oscar nomination for Darkour.
Guillaume tried to hook Patrick, but Poirier was having none of it.
Not even supposed to fight right there.
And the former boxer now down and almost out.
2 cards to come for Zowie to try and stay alive. Turn card. Another ace, and Zowie is rallying with 1 round to go.
Zowie gets up from the floor, throws a haymaker, and now he's looking for an ace, 9, or deuce to stick around.
The river card, the Queen of Hearts, and Zowie's main event is over.
At least when you get knocked out in poker, your head's not on the ground.
And Zowie knows it hurts a lot less to get knocked out at the main event. The main event does not discriminate.
Why?
Stars do not get star treatment.
Can I get excited yet? Oh.
Amateurs face the same uphill climb.
The endurance of every day, several hours a day of playing, it takes a toll. I can feel it.
At the top of tonight's summit is a ticket to play on day 5.
Put on your seatbelts. Put on your seatbelts.
Welcome back to Las Vegas in the 2011 World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Whether star or unknown, pro or amateur, the task tonight is to accumulate chips and move on to day 5. Daniel Negreanu's hanging on to his main event dream.
The 4-time bracelet winner's been picking up some chips lately, Lon. Of course, he lives in Las Vegas now, but he's a Toronto kid poker at heart.
Ben Lamb still in the mix.
The 26-year-old also lives in Las Vegas these days, but he's a Tulsa, Oklahoma kid at heart.
Patrick Poirier was once the chip leader, now a long way from that.
He's a Las Vegas resident as well, but you know he's a Tupper Lake kid at heart.
And then there's Sam Barnhart, the unlikely chip leader here on day 4.
And my man is Little Rock forever. Go Arkansas!
474 players remain. Sam Barnhart on top. Peyus Hines and Max Heinzelman trying to become the first Germans ever to make the main event final table. Daryl Jace, one of 3 players within 100,000 of the lead. The chip leader at this featured table, the man who just knocked out Vanessa Rousso, David Bach.
He once tried his hand at pro bowling. Gotta root for him.
And there is Nachman Berlin of Brooklyn. He's a poker pro who loves center stage.
I want to root for someone who lives in Brooklyn, Lon. They lost the Dodgers.
And I don't think they want them back right now. Ace-Jack for Dwayne Alexander. Alexander, 31-year-old from San Antonio with a raise to 14,000. Bach folds. Playing 7-handed at this featured table at the moment. In the green shirt, Tom Brabant.
That is the greenest shirt we've ever had at the feature table.
Folded to Nachman Berlin with Ace-King.
By the way, if Nachman Berlin makes the final table, he does not count as a German. Berman second at a no-limit event earlier at this World Series, a $400,000 payday.
Alexander with the raise from early position gets a call from Berlin. And so they will be heads up to the flop.
Alexander attended Austin Community College in Texas. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
There's the flop now. Jack 7-10. Alexander with top pair, top kicker. And he'll waste no time building a pot. 17,000. And Berlin comes along again with a Broadway draw. Turn card. And ace hits both. Alexander leads with aces up. 30,000 this time. Well, Berlin hit top pair. He's got the top kicker, but it's second best, and he makes the call.
Alexander seems comfortable with his bet. Berlin seems comfortable with his call.
River card deuce of hearts misses both, so Alexander's aces up is best.
A very harmless deuce on the river. That might be the most harmless deuce ever.
Alexander will bet it.
Call.
Bet 85,000. Call.
And Alexander will win it.
Come on, are you serious?
It's
that's gonna be bleeped out.
That's gonna be bleeped out. Beep.
Trapping this clown, and how's he get me like
Trap
that?
me, I outflopped you. You called me with nothing. You called me with air.
I called you with nothing.
You had ace for high on the flop. How do you trap me with ace high?
Trapped you with ace king. I knew you had a lower ace. Are you kidding me? I was gonna get all your chips.
Jack. You got him.
You had nothing. That's what you had.
Ace high call is great.
You obviously are clueless. We see the world differently, obviously.
For what it's worth, I'm also clueless, and I also see the world differently than Nachman Berlin.
Enjoy those chips.
As day 4 marches towards its conclusion, Nachman Berlin reminds us that even with so much on the line, personality and gamesmanship can have a place at the poker table. Norman, we've seen high-level poker at this main event, but has the game become too serious?
Where are all the characters? What, we get a guy with pink hair from France in the chip lead and call it a day? I am demanding that the remaining 500 players start acting like people. This isn't the internet, this is real life with real human beings. Look them in the eye, introduce yourself, try some small talk, make new friends, and then take their chips.
I'll take ace jack. I'll take ace king versus ace jack anytime. We can go C3, 4
Oh, you
streets.
played it bad. Should have re-raised.
Played it perfect. I've tried to own your ass. I knew if I 3-bet, you fold.
I'm not in the Nachman Berlin corner anymore. Just a little too much Brooklyn for me.
Two poker players who talk more than we do, Norman. Nachman Berlin with ace-4 of diamonds, and they're in the muck now.
I trap a guy with ace king. He has ace jack high. I catch my ace. He catches 2 pair. He thinks he outplayed me for half my stack.
King, queen of diamonds for
The guy that
Alexander.
played probably his first tournament in his life. I get him for half a stack.
Berlin won't let it go.
He doesn't hit that jack. I take all of it.
Alexander with a raise to 14,000.
Second tournament of my life.
Second tournament in his life. Yeah. I was gonna get him for everything. I knew he has ace high. Trapping him for the whole wad for everything.
How much did I bet pre-flop? About 15,000 on that hand? So I was behind when I bet 15,000. I was ahead when I bet about what, 150, 200,000? They called me the whole way.
You don't know what you're talking about. Honest to God, you don't.
You called 150,000 behind, buddy. You called 15,000 ahead.
The rivalry was born in the big blind. Tom Brabant with pocket kings. And he raises to 36,000.
Brabant shuts out the commotion and silently raises his kings. By the way, when I'm asking for more personality at the table, I'm not looking for Phil Hellmuth imposters.
Alexander with a suited king-queen makes the call for 22,000 more. Alexander dominated again. We'll see another flop. 6, 8, 7, 2 diamonds. The pocket kings still best. A flush draw for Alexander. Brabant checked it.
Literally, I had the worst guy on the table. I lose all my chips to.
That last hand still festering with Berlin. Alexander bets 42,000 with the flush draw.
Close enough, Steven.
Brabant has cashed 12 times in his World Series career.
With the pocket kings.
I'll probably get crushed for the way I knocked the nets out.
Just a call.
For the what?
For the way I knocked the nets out.
Oh.
All right, so Alexander looking for help.
Alexander in a good mood. I like that. This is the main event.
Wow, and there is help. Alexander steals the hand away with a diamond flush.
By the way, Nachman Amarillo Slim Berlin would have turned the nut flush had he played.
But he's on the sidelines. Brabant checked it. Alexander now with an unbeatable hand. Bet 60,000, a smallish bet.
Brabant is an instructor at Pocket Five's training site, but he's playing this hand like he's a graduate of the Norman Chad School of Poker. Check calling with no idea where he stands in the hand.
He did check call the flop, and now check calls the turn. Alexander loves those cards he's peeking at. River card now, 5 of hearts. Brabant checks a third time. Now Alexander will try to figure how much he can get from his opponent. 200,000.
Well, to call here, Brabant's got to put Alexander on a bluff, or maybe a hand like pocket tens or jacks.
Alexander's bet was 70% of the pot. That's hefty.
200.
I call.
The pocket kings call. Alexander wins with a king-high diamond flush.
Norman Chad School of Poker. Our motto, passive but not profitable.
The king-high flush wins a big pot.
I had ace-4 of diamonds.
You got doubled up.
That would be so sick. Because he definitely called with king queen.
Oh, absolutely. I snap it off and flip it over like I got the nuts.
No, it would have gotten cooler. It's not.
Right. Yeah, I would have flipped it over like I had the nuts. You'd show me your hand and not been sad.
So that two-man show continues at the feature table. That could be fun to watch. To the outer tables now, where Alan Cunningham and his aces are ready to take the last of short-stack Burton Ritchie's chips, who holds pocket queens.
Frankly, I think it should say 100% next to Cunningham's name going to the flop. He doesn't ever lose a hand like this.
I gotta tell you, Dane, is it? It is totally okay for you to spike a queen without spiking an ace.
Ritchie from Pensacola, Florida, looking for a miracle. Here's the flop. No queen, no draws. Ritchie in serious trouble.
The five-time bracelet winner remains a force. This is his fourth cash in the last 6 main events. He's Alan Cunningham.
Turn card now.
I'm fine with a chop.
4 of hearts means Ritchie has very limited avenues to survival.
Ritchie has to have a queen, or Alan Cunningham's got a knockout.
The river card. The 8 of spades, and it just seems a little unfair when the best players in the world get aces. Ritchie knocked out of the main event. Alan Cunningham up to $500,000 now. Welcome back to the 2011 main event. Day 4 play comes to an end tonight. If the pace continues, the field expected to drop below 400 players. It's been quite a World Series for the French. 4 bracelets, including one for Bertrand Elke Grospellier. He completes poker's Triple Crown. And Con France will host the 2011 World Series of Poker Europe tournaments. And at our secondary table is Frenchman Guillaume Darcourt, whose pink hair has attracted a lot of attention, even here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
I have the pink hair since 1 week. It's last bet. But since 1 week, I play some tournaments online. I win two tournaments on 3. If I make a real deep run in this tournament, I will have to do that all my life. I don't say the pink hair brings me luck, but maybe it's changed something in the way my opponents see me. Maybe before they didn't know that I was crazy. Maybe now, as soon as I get to the table, they know it and maybe they're scared, I don't know.
I didn't know Just for Frenchmen had that color. And frankly, he should have gone all the way and dyed his 4-day-old grizzly facial growth pink.
All right, action on Stuart Tuvey, who finds ace-king. And he announces raise to 19,000. And Pluard folds over to our pink-haired Frenchman, Darcourt, with pocket 6s.
Katy Perry dyes her hair pink a lot. Maybe she should play poker.
Darcourt began day 3 with 400,000. Day 4 was 700,000. Now, late on day 4 here, over $1 million. He makes the call. Barnhart with ace-10 offsuit on the Jackling's Beef Jerky hole cam.
Can't see Sam Barnhart dyeing anything, any color.
19,000 is the call from Sam.
I don't like Sam calling with ace-10 off in that spot. Yeah, he's got the stack and he's in position, but let it go.
3 players will see the flop. Darcourt's pocket 6s are best right now. Flop 4-5 Jack. Darcourt still best. Tuvey missed.
Yeah, he missed, but I believe Stuart Tuvey has a continuation bet disorder. The condition is treatable, but he has declined treatment.
And it looks like it will manifest itself in a continuation bet on this flop. 36,000. Darcourt now with the best hand.
And Darcourt's BS detector appears to be up and operating.
Darcourt won the WPT Bucharest event in 2010. He makes the call.
I would have preferred if Darcourt had popped it right there. That might end the hand. And if he gets re-raised, then he can reconsider.
Barnhart on the button. Missed the flop, and he'll lay down.
Look at Tuvey over there. He can't wait to continuation bet his continuation bet.
Well, we may see that. Turn card, deuce of diamonds. Tuvey picks up a straight draw that would be no good to him.
Yeah, Tuvey likes to posture. We saw him bluff Freed Mulders with king deuce on an ace-jack-10 board.
And once again, Stuart Tuvey bets it 75,000. Now Guillaume Darcourt with the best hand with the 6s, plus he picked up a higher straight draw.
It's getting a little more treacherous for Darcourt, but if he thought his pocket 6s were good on the flop, that deuce on the turn changes nothing.
And he does make the call, Norman.
And Tuvey's thinking, good, that means I can continuation bet my continuation bet from my continuation bet.
The river card with 300,000 in the pot, another 4. You see the percentages. The pocket 6s and 4s for Darcourt are best.
Maybe Tuvey's having second thoughts. Maybe he wants to play into day 5.
The open raised. He let out on the flop and the turn.
All in.
He now builds an even stronger story with an all-in.
Yep, why not bluff off the rest of your chips with about 40 big blinds left? But it is pause for a lot of concern for Guillaume Darcourt. The river all-in bluff, let's call it the Stuart Tuvey.
Darcourt sitting with pocket sixes.
Again, if Darcourt thought the sixes were good on the flop and the turn, wouldn't they still be good unless Tuvey has a 4 in his hand? But now it's a high price to find out.
About 30% of Darcourt's remaining stack to call, but he does fold. Tuvey's bluff works.
My compliments to the 22-year-old. He's 22 years ahead of me in poker chops.
Right now, two-time bracelet winner Greg Mueller is standing by for some pro analysis on Tuvey's bluff.
Here's a hand where Darcourt shows us that the middle pairs are very, very tough in tournaments. 2 sixes are a very, very difficult hand to play if you don't flop a set. The always aggressive Tuvey barrels through from start to finish with no pair, and Darcourt calls and finally gives up on the end. He had the best hand from start to finish. What do you do with him if you don't flop a set? Go set mining, and if you miss, throw the hand away.
Darcourt missed his set on the flop, and he invested over $100,000 more before finally folding the best hand. You see on the graphic right there, the only 2010 November 9 remaining. Joseph Chung is nearing 1 million chips. Let's catch up with Ben Lamb. Surprise, he is leading his opponent after the flop. Top pair for Ben, middle pair for Thomas Olcroft, who checked. And now Lamb reaching for chips. He loves to reach for chips. Lamb bets 30,000.
So tough when you're an amateur against pros like Ben Lamb. Olcroft, a 60-year-old bill collector.
And he makes the call with his pair of eights. Ben Lamb got him right where he wants him. Queen of Hearts, third heart on board. You see no red cards were dealt to either player. Olcroft checked again. And Lamb this time bets 85,000.
Lamb willing to find out if Olcroft hit a flush. A lot of players would check in position for pot control. And of course, Olcroft has to worry about a lot of hands that are better than his eights.
Olcroft folds, no flush for Lamb. A pair of kings, though, will do the trick. He takes another pot. After a tough day 3, Lamb seems to have fixed the hitch in his giddy-up here on day 4 as he crosses over the million-chip mark. Back inside the Amazon room where the dwindling field means more elbow room for everyone. Sam Barnhart's day 3 included a very big fold. Kara Scott has a report on how that hand went down.
Sam Barnhart is a World Series of Poker circuit champion, but this is his first cash in the World Series of Poker main event, and it nearly didn't happen. On day 3, he was involved in a big hand where he laid down pocket kings before the flop for all of his chips. I asked him how he's able to make such a big fold, and he said it took him a long time to analyze the actions. He even told his table they could call the clock on him, but in the end, his long deliberations paid off. He said the only hand his opponent could have there was aces, and he was right, and Sam lived to fight another day.
Sam says he just tries to swim with the fish and the sharks at the poker table. He seems more shark than fish.
Boy, if Sam had called and lost with those pocket kings, that could have been disastrous. As it is, he's got nearly 2 million chips. Pocket nines for Barnhart under the gun.
I'll raise.
And a raise to 18,000.
Sam says he respects great players who aren't showmen. He cites Alan Cunningham, Eric Seidel, and Barry Johnston.
Boy, if you can just follow the example of those players, you will do very well here at the main event in your entire poker career. Sam taking a year off from his research work to give poker a go.
I still like to see some personality at the table. Just makes it more fun to play or watch.
Folded around to the big blind, Guillaume Darcourt. Raise from Barnhart to 18,000 has gotten through this far, but Darcourt will call with his 6-4.
What's the point of playing 6-4 off with nothing in the pot?
Here is the flop. It is Trey 7-5 rainbow. Really? Guillaume Darcourt flops the joint, and he checks it. Barnhart bets 30,000 with his pocket nines.
Sure, that's a very safe-looking flop for Sam Barnhart.
And now Darcourt with his 7 high straight.
6-4 off. Please.
And the biggest stack working with him. And there is a raise to 74,000 from Darcourt.
Well, he had hooked Sam with the check. I might have thought Darcourt would reel him in a little longer before yanking that fishing pole.
Now back to Sam Barnhart.
Sam, of course, always slow to act. He's like a Sunday driver at the poker table.
And here's a re-raise from Sam to 230,000.
Boy, Sam 3-bets it, and my man has hit a pothole.
The two top stacks at this table in a battle of wills.
And as we've seen before, the man in the pink hair is an actor in training at the table. Barnhart sitting on a 4% hand. Dark Horse sitting on the nuts. He's acting like, you know, he's sitting on trouble.
What an opportunity for Darkor.
I raise.
And Darkor has announced a re-raise. Those are the calling chips. How much heat can Barnhart's nines take?
Well, the 4-bet might make the Sunday driver slam on the brakes.
A raise to 445 from Darkor. Now Barnhart with the pocket nines.
Barnhart has Darkor easily covered, but I don't know if he wants to ultimately risk half his stack with pocket nines.
Sorry, guys.
As we saw with the pocket king, Sam usually makes the right decision.
I'm gonna have to have an heart attack if you go on like that.
All right.
That means a fold. Yes.
Sam says he's going to fold. He hasn't yet. But there it is, and Darkor will take the pot.
I came close calling you. Probably will next time. No, I had aces. I'll call you in a second. You have a hand? You did? You had nines beat?
Mm-hmm.
You had nines beat?
He had nines beat. He had aces beat. He had everything beat.
You won't believe me if I told you.
You didn't have nines beat? Bluff, huh? Good bluff, huh? Set? You didn't hit a set, did you? Set of threes.
That's right.
You had a set of threes? Set of
No,
threes?
he said, no. You think I'd throw away a set of threes?
You had two aces there?
No, I had 2 nines.
What's wrong?
2 nines.
2 9?
Yeah.
Wow, man. Over there.
Thought about this so long?
Huh?
Darkor up to 1,150,000. At an outer table, an amateur making noise with his big stack. Manoj Viswanathan with 1.4 million flopped a pair of sevens and a gut shot. He leads the pair of fives of Patrick Shepard.
This is Brooklyn, New York versus Eagle River, Alaska. The mainland is ahead on this one.
Viswanathan bet 32,000. Now Shepard doesn't look like he's going anywhere. And there's a raise to 74,000.
Shepard, also an amateur. Viswanathan went to MIT, then went to NYU Law School.
And he makes the call for 42,000 more. Gets a glare from his opponent. Turn card ace of diamonds, and Shepard takes the lead with aces up. Viswanathan is double gutted, and he's going to bet it.
All in.
Shepard moves all in.
Boy, an immediate all in. You act that quickly, you usually have a monster. Viswanathan covering his mouth, otherwise he'd blurt out, oh my goodness, what have I done? I'm a stinking lawyer, not a poker pro. What have I done?
Viswanathan started the hand with 1 million more than Shepard. Needs 248 more to call.
Well, what he wants to do right now, I imagine, is fold.
But he calls. And Shepard shows him aces up.
A 1 million chip pot, Shepard at risk.
Big card, big card, big
One card to come. The river card, the 6, and Viswanathan rivers a 7 high straight to knock Shepard out.
Bad call, good result.
There is your new tournament chip leader.
Thanks, Brian. Sorry, man.
A stunned Patrick Shepard earns over $27,000.
Donk with chips.
Raised to 2.9 million. 6 3/4 million. Over 14 million. Almost 23 million.
I'm all in. I'm called.
There you go!
It looks like a brutal finish to a beautiful main event for Joseph Chung.
Chung's infamous crippling hand from last year's main event final table.
So only the last 10 will come now, no?
There is Anton Ionel all in for 89,000 with 2 10s against the ace-queen of Chung. The flop is no help to Chung. Ionel still ahead.
Ionel, a 43-year-old Romanian engineer looking for a small double up through last year's third-place finisher.
Turn card, 4 of clubs, that misses Chung.
Give me a 2, a deuce, or a jack.
Only an ace or a queen knocks him out.
The river card is an ace, and Chung's 6-outer comes home, sending Anton Ionel to the payout cage.
I scoffed at Joseph Chung's chances to make back-to-back final tables, but he is still here.
He has more than doubled his stack, approaching $1 million right now. Average stack over 483,000 at the moment, with 426 players remaining. We check in on Ben Lamb, who has taken up another occupation.
Those things are heavy. Good luck, son.
Can I see your union card?
Smile.
Lamb is good enough to shoot and raise at the same time.
Well, Ben Lamb showing what poker was like before they had whole cameras. Every player had to carry around one of those cameras and show us his cards. Ben has 10-5 off.
I like the Lamb cam.
Like I said before, is anybody not having fun here?
I don't think I'll get any respect if I raise you. It's like too much fun to play with Pablo in the camera.
And folds his button.
No, that's bad TV. Come on.
And realizes he has the better job not lugging that 40-pound beast around the room. At another table, Michael Benna's ace-10 came up short on the flop against the pocket tens of Russian Andrei Patachuk. Action on Benna.
Benna, 29, from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. This is his 4th cash this World Series.
Benna bets 17,000.
Patachuk, just 21 years old, still a student from just outside of Moscow.
With the pocket tens, makes the call. Turn card, Jack of Hearts. Benna adds the nut flush draw and a Broadway draw.
Big card for Benna. He's gone from having squad douche to having squad douche with cufflinks.
And Benna bets 31,000.
Patachuk has picked up his own flush draw, which of course would be no good.
He's a 2-1 favorite right now with the pocket tens. And he makes the call.
He's being sticky, and he's correct.
Almost 150,000 in the pot. River card, another king. Benna comes up empty. But he's got chips, and it looks like he's going to bet at it.
Yeah, he's going to represent a big hand again.
Benna putting together some orange chips and a couple of yellow chips. That's 57,000.
It's a bluff disguised as a value bet. It's like Pauly Shore disguised as a comedian. It might not work.
Patachuk with kings up.
Patachuk would be getting about 4-1 on his money to call here.
And he does call.
Ace high won't do it. Good call from Andrei Patachuk.
So the Russian will take that pot. Benna's bluff not believable enough. And Andrei can breathe again. Patachuk up to about 850,000 now at that outer table. A very healthy stack indeed. Nearby, Daniel Negreanu holds pocket kings and has the action. Daniel Scalovi just open raised to 16,000 with ace-10 of diamonds.
Scalovi, a 27-year-old Canadian, writes online poker strategy columns.
This Canadian has taken some recent hits to his stack. He's all in for 118,000.
I got like 100. That's 100.
Doesn't have much.
Daniel has pocket kings.
I got 118, bro. That's the 100, and that's the 18. And that's the Canadian bro from Vancouver. A lot of riots out there this year.
If I lose his hand, I'm going to flip the table.
Referring to the unfortunate Stanley Cup hockey riots.
That's not funny.
Yeah, no.
A couple of friendly Canadians talking it out here, but the bottom line is that Daniel Negreanu has all his chips in the middle.
We'll talk about it after.
Oh, sorry, do your thing.
disagree with that.
I memean, dude. And now it's another $102 for you.
Very good.
102.
Scalovi has Daniel well covered.
Close.
I think Scalovi's got a call here.
There's 44 in the pot. 44 and 102 is 146. You got to call 102 to win 146.
Daniel helping him out.
Which is like you're getting about 1.4. So, I mean, you have to have something decent. I can't tell you that because I'll get a penalty. I have pretty cards. Mine are pretty.
I'm not fond of Daniel's talk here. If he's the one to act, fine. But it's Scalovi's action. If I'm making this decision, I don't need Daniel reviewing the size of the pot and the odds for me. It's a bit off-putting.
And Daniel, for the record, that was Norman talking. Golovy with the ace-10 of diamonds.
You think or you do?
And he folds.
Probably a good fold if you couldn't beat kings.
No, well, I knew you had kings.
Oh, because you had an ace? Then I don't want you to call. Here, there's the kings I just had. You had ace-10. So I got 146. Eat some of that. All right.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker Main Event, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Daniel Negreanu involved in another hand at an outer table, this time with Benjamin Logan.
Logan 26th, 87th at the 2007 Main Event.
Both have 2 pair 8s and 5s. Negreanu with a better kicker and a flush draw. He just bet $37,000 after Logan checked.
Negreanu trying to regain some momentum.
You notice the percentages do not add up to 100 because there's still a reasonable chance of a chop pot. Logan makes the call. Logan was a semi-pro basketball player. He says he's a semi-pro poker player. He needs to commit sometimes, you know? All right, the river card. 6 of hearts. Negreanu rivers the flush. Logan wisely checks his 2 pair.
Negreanu wondering if he can get more chips out of Logan here.
Daniel, 11th place in the 2001 Main Event.
Yep, it's a flush, Daniel.
48,000.
How much?
48,000.
I called.
Logan calls.
Nice value bet from Daniel.
And Daniel has the best of it.
Daniel Negreanu keeps dipping and then keeps rising.
Logan pays him off. Daniel now with about 350,000 chips.
I have more chips now than I've ever had. For real.
This Main Event has been a grind for Negreanu, but he seems to be getting some traction at that outer table. All right, let's get back over to our secondary table. The leader here is Sam Barnhart with 1.7 million. Action on Patrick Poirier on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam. King, queen of spades.
Poirier says he likes to snowboard, but I believe he's bluffing.
Raised to 18,000. Poirier started this day 4 with 1.3 million, down to about 400,000 right now. Action folds over to Stuart Tuvey.
I think Tuvey snowboards.
He looks like a snowboarder. He folds his Jack 5. Folded around to Sam Barnhart on the button. Ace-10 of spades.
Barnhart says he likes browsing through programming books at Barnes & Noble. He's a cheap date.
He makes the call for 18,000. The small blind Kareem lays down, as does Cam Barris. So it will be heads up. Sam Barnhart with the ace-10 of spades. Poirier with king-queen of spades. And here is the flop. Queen, 8, king. Top 2 pair for Poirier. Barnhart with a Broadway draw.
Poirier in his familiar left arm rests while the right arm works pose.
And he puts together 37,000. Now to Barnhart.
Barnhart, always deliberate. I like Sam, but none of us is going to live forever.
Barnhart with a big stack. Can afford to see a lot of turn cards. He does make the call.
Barnhart's seen Poirier posture previously. Might think his ace high is good.
Turn card. Ace of diamonds pairs Barnhart. Poirier still way ahead with kings up.
You know, it occurs to me that my Tupper Lake guy could wager a little more efficiently and quickly if he actually used both arms.
You got somewhere to go?
Well, I've got no place else to be right now, Lon, but, you know, I like a good pace to my day.
52,000 from Patrick. Barnhart with top pair, but second best makes the call.
Well, Patrick stringing Sam along with that small turn bet.
235 in the pot right now. All right, the river card, and oh, the 10, and Sam Rivers a better 2 pair.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
And Poirier checks his 2 pair.
It's the French time.
First time he's slowed down. 80,000 from Barnhart, about a third of the pot.
This is a snapshot of how these two players' days are going. Poirier looks so frustrated. He can't beat a flush, he can't beat a straight, and of course he can't beat Barnhart's aces up.
Everything gets there.
Exactly what Patrick's thinking. And he does wisely lay it down.
Barnhart has some more chips to stack, courtesy of Patrick Poirier.
As ships in the night, these two sailing in opposite directions, one with a big diesel engine, the other just steaming away. The biggest limit hold'em event of the summer was the $10,000 championship. And after all was said and done, Daniel Idema came out on top.
A great amount of people have bracelets in the poker world, and it's just a tremendous honor to be part of that world.
It was a sweet victory for Idema, who finished runner-up in the same tournament just last year.
Redemption, bro, redemption.
The last player to win back-to-back bracelets in the same World Series event was Thang Lu, who won the $1,500 Omaha 8 or Better event in 2008 and 09. Chip leader Manoj Viswanathan is in action again. He flopped an open-ender against Michael Benna's top pair and higher gut shot, and Aaron Rupert's leading pocket queens with his own two-ways straight draw. Check to Rupert, and he bet $28,000. Now to the tournament chip leader. He makes the call.
I like the hat. I don't like the call.
Benna makes the call as well. Pot, $151,000. Turn card. 6 of spades, misses all 3. Manoj, the big stack with a big bet, $100,000.
Viswanathan fires out. He's got a lot of pep in his step. Benna looks like he wants to call. He does have Rupert behind him.
Benna stuck in the middle. He folds. Now to Rupert.
This is Rupert's 4th career World Series cash.
He's got the best hand, and he makes the call. Viswanathan seems unworried. River card now. Another 10. Viswanathan left with just ace high. Oh, and the big stack.
Yeah, and we're seeing a bad trend here, Lon. Another aggressive guy who uses just one arm to make a bet.
Viswanathan bets $300,000.
Well, now I like the hat, and I like the bluff. This would be for 2/3 of Rupert's remaining stack. It might work.
Rupert shaking his head. And look at that board. Very dangerous. And Rupert lays down his hand. Viswanathan takes another pot.
Show a bluff on your first hand at the table. You don't want to show the bluff.
He doesn't want to show the bluff, but he whistled like he was bluffing.
You're going to tell us how you dirtied the other guy now?
Manoj just moved to this table, but word of his earlier exploits have spread throughout the Amazon room.
And it's another staple of this tournament, Lon. An amateur seizing the chip lead late in the main event.
And as we pass by our secondary table, amateur Sam Barnhart, one of the chip leaders with almost $2 million. But let's get back to our featured table. Action on David Bach, nicknamed Gunslinger. He will not play. Folded to Tom Braband. Well, he has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand, Norman.
I'm glad these wild card hands aren't essay questions. Multiple choice is so much easier.
You have 4 choices, and he raises to $17,000.
Well, with that raise from under the gun +2, we can eliminate D, 8-6 off. Braband's getting low stacked. I don't think he can afford to fool around, and I don't think he's the type to fool around. So I'm going to put him on the small pocket pair, A, pocket 3s.
Pocket 3s, the choice for Norman Chad.
See, Lana, I understand position in poker. I understand hand range. I understand the whole panoply that is this great game.
Panoply, that's the one thing I did not understand in what you just said. Folded around to the big blind, Dwayne Alexander.
The 31-year-old poker pro from San Antonio.
King Jack suited. Braband raised to $17,000. Alexander sits with over 1 million chips right now, and he makes that call.
The man in the green shirt has pocket 3s, Lon.
So you say. Here's the flop, and there is a 3 along with a 7 and 6. Alexander whiffed, and he checked.
I think he's got a set of 3s now. He's certainly not going to make a continuation bet here with, say, ace-king.
He does bet $20,000. Alexander puts in $20,000.
I would explain Alexander's flop call, Lon, but I can't. But the man in green has a set of 3s, Lon.
Turn card is a jack, so Alexander with top pair and a good kicker. And he checks again.
Okay, we eliminated D pre-flop. We eliminated C on the flop. And if he's going to fire here again, I don't think Braband is just on a draw, which is B, it's a big hand, it's a set.
You think he's got a set? Is that what you're saying?
Uh-huh.
47,000, okay, with the set.
Okay, now, Alexander should have been gone on the flop, and I believe pairing his jack is going to get him in trouble.
Yeah, he does make the call for 47,000.
The man in green has a set of threes, Lon.
River card is an ace. Alexander checks a third time.
Brabant has 25 big blinds remaining. No way he's going to posture at this point with Alexander calling him on the flop and on the turn. If he bets here, he's got it. And you know what he's got?
A set of threes. It is an all-in bet from Brabant, almost 200,000.
Alexander's curious flop call leads him to this tough position. He's either crushed or Brabant is bluffing.
It would take about 20% of his stack to make this call for Alexander. And there it is. And a set of threes for Brabant. Norman Chad, I bow to you.
The man in green had pocket threes, Lon. Get me a case of beef jerky.
He won the Jack Links beef jerky wild card hand, and so did you, Norman.
If you touch me right now, you will burn yourself.
Brabant was in desperate need of chips here at this featured table. He had pocket trays, wound up spiking a set on the flop, and then got maximum value from Dwayne Alexander. Action wrapping up here on day 4 at the main event as we check in on the secondary table. Sam Barnhart with 1.9 million. He's got very little to worry about right now. His stack, the second biggest in the room. Patrick Poirier, who once sat on 1.3 million, is now a million lighter. Action on Guillaume Darcourt, 9-7 off. Second biggest stack at this table, and he's going to raise it up with that hand to 18,000.
Look at these two guys, Lon. Couldn't they star in some buddy comedy on TV? You know, like The Odd Couple?
Yeah, the pink-haired Frenchman and the Arkansan.
That's gold, Lon, gold.
Queen 9 of spades for Barnhart, and he makes the call.
In fact, you could pick any two guys on this table, and you have a remake of The Odd Couple.
Poirier with pocket jacks. Well, we say goodnight to Patrick Poirier. He had a good tournament, and I hope he's enjoyed the main event.
Well, they're tough to play, but I want him to pump it up. Be the man I know you can be from Tupper Lake.
Well, he has been very aggressive with his stack throughout the main event. That's how he built it, and partly how he lost it.
Would it kill the left arm to actively participate in the day's proceedings?
There is a re-raise to 48,000 from Poirier.
That's a smallish 3-bet.
What a range of chip stacks at the secondary table, from a low of 87,000 up to 1.9 million. 10-5 for Duke Pham, and he lays it down.
Rags.
Stuart Tuvey, the Sunnyvale apparent snowboarder. 9-6 of clubs.
Semi-connected and suited rags.
Into the muck.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
What is it?
30,000, I think.
Yes.
That is the raise back to Darcourt. Now he's looking for a miracle flop or a bluffing board, and he makes the call.
I don't see how Darcourt just called. I just don't. 9-7 off. Does he think he's going to flop another straight?
Sam calls as well with Queen 9, so Poirier's re-raise builds a three-way pot.
Pick any two from this table, you got an odd couple.
Here's the flop. King, Deuce, 8 rainbow, not the flop Darcourt or Barnhart wanted. Poirier best with his jacks. Check to him.
That flop is just too ugly for TV.
And the jacks want to commit more chips.
And eventually, Lon, if you're handling that many chips with just your right arm, it will grow in size grotesquely larger than your left arm. You're going to be a sideshow at the circus.
Patrick bets 45,000.
Another small bet.
Darcourt folds, and Barnhart kicks it in, and the pocket jacks come through. Mark it.
Wow, pocket jacks win, Lon?
They do. Put it on a Post-it note. So somehow Patrick Poirier makes those cards work, and he picks up a few chips. He needs to do that more often. At another outer table, Daniel Negreanu just 3-bet with pocket queens. Original raiser Freddie Deeb with ace-6 suited. Next to act. He lays it down now with pocket kings. Morten Mortensen.
Is that the way you're supposed to wear that shirt?
How much is the green?
57.
25,000 each.
Mortensen raises all in.
Mortensen has Negreanu right where he wants him. And Daniel without much choice here.
Daniel has Mortensen covered.
Daniel's going to have to call.
And that's what he does. And Daniel in very bad shape. His queens against Mortenson's kings.
The 22-year-old Dane looking to double through Daniel Negreanu.
All right, now the flop. Oh, and there's a queen in the flop, and Daniel flops a set.
And now Negreanu has Mortensen right where he wants him.
Mortensen packing up to leave. Turn card is an ace, no help to Mortensen.
We all go all in on the flop.
Yeah.
With that flop.
The river card, another trade. Daniel wins the hand with a full boat and knocks out Mortensen.
Another bad fortune, ugly ending.
If you call it, Daniel, if you call it and check the flop, I bet he raise, you raise, we all go all in.
I'm okay with how it works out.
So Daniel Negreanu wins day 4 on a high note as the remaining field starts to bag up their chips as they look forward to day 5 of the main event.
On day 4, we saw what we've seen so many times, Lon. Get it in with the worst of it and get lucky. That's how Manoj Viswanathan took the chip lead. That's how Daniel Negreanu has stuck around. But at the main event, that's always how you survive to the very end.
So day 4 ends with 378 players. The top 2 are amateurs. We caught up with the chip leader, Manoj Viswanathan, after play finished for the day.
I feel good. I've got the momentum. You never know with these things how it's going to end up, and it'd be very premature for me to say that I'm going to get anywhere close to the final table, but of course that's what you dream of, and that's all I can hope for.
Feels like I'm due to get lucky. It's been a rough World Series, but if I can hold all my run good and all my luck for this event, it'll all be worth it.
Whether you have pink hair,
You won't believe me if I told you.
11 letters in your last name,
Down for chips.
or you're the biggest poker star on the planet, there's a place for you on day 5.
So I got 146. Eat some of that. All right.
Patrick Poirier showed us how hard it is to maintain the chip lead, while Sam Barnhart kept trending up. For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. On to day 5.